Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Jacob Avillion, and I am joined by my lovely host, as always, lovely co host, I should say, my good friend, my dear friend, Brayden McClellan.
What's
Uh,
up, guys?
Brayden, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, a lot of. I think it's funny how last week we were like, we're gonna dial back on the football, and then this week it's a football extravaganza today.
There's a lot to do this week with football. This is, of course, our halfway segment. There are 18 weeks in an NFL season. We are 9 weeks through the season. That means we revisit our predictions for divisions and how we. Am I still coming through your speakers?
No,
I can hear myself through.
must just be something with
It's tripping me the
you're
fuck
not because
out.
you're not coming out of my speakers anymore.
That's tripping me the fuck out. Um, Now I don't hear myself anymore. I heard myself for a brief second there, like
You just
playback.
got real loud.
I must. I just got too crazy.
All right,
Too loud
guys.
and
So on
crazy.
this episode of the pod, Jacob will be tripping balls.
I
He
will be
actually was
having a
microdosing
manic
earlier today.
episode on stream or in today's recording. No, today we will be talking about who we our standings, our playoff pictures, our award prediction. I hear it again,
I think
and
it's just gonna be happening
if I can
sometimes.
hear it, it's gonna show up during the whatever. It is what it is. Sorry if you hear me twice, but if there's any voice you should be hearing twice, it's this one. So. But yeah, well,
And I guess also a quick note: if I'm looking more down than normal, well, I guess not more than normal, but I'm on my laptop this time, but my webcam is still up here on my desktop monitor, so I might be looking a little bit more down.
Yeah, and of course today, we've got our usual. We could talk about how we're doing. We got our Titans talk and Cowboys talk. There was big news today in Titans world that I
I
will
mean,
very happily
it's more of
share.
just restating the obvious.
Well, it's what should be obvious, but you don't know Mike Vrabel like I do. This was not obvious if you were a Titans fan. This was a clenching your ass cheeks and hope he doesn't do the dumb thing if you're a Titans fan. But he did not do the dumb thing, and we'll get into that. But first, tell me how you're doing.
I'm doing pretty good. My mom's out of town visiting my sister and her baby.
Hell yeah.
Um, Trying to think if anything's going on with my right now. I don't think so. Nothing. Nothing's going on. Pretty just chilling. Just working on videos.
Relaxing, all cool.
I did hit 185 subs, so I'm 15 more away from the current goal of 200.
Hell yeah.
Big boost. Oh, because I started using. I've been seeing ads for this thing. And I've used it for a while already. I've used it a couple times already. But Opius Clips,
Okay.
and you just put in a video, and it will auto make it into shorts with captions. So I've been using that to be pumping out shorts to help get some eyes on the channel.
Hell yeah.
And and I've been doing it for a while, but they just recently added a feature where you can also schedule them to upload them already.
Okay.
And so I did that, and it's fine now. But the first one uploaded the wrong video. It was none of my videos that it uploaded. It uploaded a clip from Impulsive.
How the hell did that happen?
I was like, what the fuck is this? And I got scared. I was like, I like the schedule thing. Like, if that can happen, that'd be great. Because I would still schedule them.
Yeah.
But I would have to download all the clips on my computer, then have them go up. But now I can just have it auto go from Opius to YouTube, and I would have to download all these clips.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, what the fuck? I don't want fucking Logan Paul on my channel.
Yeah,
I'm an anti Logan Paul individual.
I am 100% with you on that one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty staunchly anti Logan Paul myself.
I was like,
the Paul brothers
what
in general, but Logan
yeah.
in particular. Logan
weirdly enough, I think I like Jake more at this point.
I do too. Jake's annoying, but he's not, scamming his audience every.
He's not scamming his audience, and honestly, he's backing his shit up. He is winning in boxing, so fuck it.
Yeah. They're both having decent careers fighting right now, but yeah, Jake is, I think, significantly more tolerable than his brother.
Yeah, he's just annoying. Logan Paul is genuinely just like a piece of shit.
I think we've talked about the Paul brothers, and I don't ever want to bring them up on here again.
All right.
I don't.
This
This should not be a recurring topic.
I'll just say I'm coming around on Jake a little bit
I'm
more,
definitely a little bit,
but Logan, I'm an anti. This
also,
is an
Prime
anti-Paul
is such a
podcast.
dog shit beverage. Like in terms of fucking Green Flash is doing their thing again.
Yeah, saw that.
But in terms of like, their marketing is like we have exactly one more electrolyte than Liquid IV. It's bullshit. The reason theirs doesn't taste salty is because they just chock it full of potassium instead of sodium. There's
It's
almost
more
no
plays, more
fucking.
dates.
Yeah, I have seen that video, but I've seen like a bajillion people criticize
Yeah.
this shit because because everybody who knows anything about fitness knows this formula is fucking garbage.
Right. If they just marketed like, "Hey, we taste good," it'd be like, "All right, that's fine."
See, that's the thing. If you drink it for the flavor, whatever. But if you like, they're marketing it as if it's a legit competitor to shit like Liquid IV or like even Gatorade. Like Gatorade by no means is perfect. In fact, the existence of Gatorade like Sport or Gatorade Fit or whatever implies that the original formula is shit. Because if you've made because if you've made now a version that's supposed to be more for fitness, what the fuck was the original beverage for? Wasn't the original beverage also for, you know what I mean? But even then, regular ass Gatorade is a better formula for hydration than Prime is. Prime is shit.
Yeah.
Prime is shit. Just drink water, honestly, if you're that concerned about hydration. Just drink fucking water or drink something that has good like sodium content in it, because that's what you lose when you sweat. You're not losing a shit ton of potassium. You're losing sodium. That's whatever. Anywho, enough about those fellas. So that's what you got going on. I see you've been uploading them tier lists. You've been busting them out.
I've been because I guess I've said before, I'm working on these videos that are taking time, and it's like I want to find an alternative to tier list. I'll always keep them in rotation, but those quick uploads, I want something else to go to, so I'm not just a tier list channel. But I prioritize having the videos out than not having tier lists. So I'll just, but I'm still prioritizing quality videos first, and that's why I'm not rushing these long videos that I'm working on. But I don't know. The last one did very well. Not the last one. Actually, the last one has done better than I thought. It was the Power Ranger one, but the Pokemon starter tier list done pretty well. It's a little over 230 views right now, which is pretty good for my channel.
That's nice. That's real good, man.
You're
doing big numbers.
And it's because of those shorts as well. I got a couple because I've been uploading shorts. I got a couple that hit over 1,000 views. So they're hitting. Nice. Things are hitting right now. I'm growing.
Good shit, man.
So what's going on over in Avillion land?
It has not been my finest hour since
you warned me. You gave me a little warning.
So
something might happen during the personal talk.
My what do you call it? The day after we recorded last week's session.
Okay.
Wednesday, I was going home from work and my car's transmission started slipping. And so over this weekend, I got some stop slip and some transmission fluid because I checked the fluid. It looked like I had a leak because the fluid level was pretty low. So I poured in a whole bottle of stop slip and then a quart of transmission fluid. Did not fix it. It was still slipping. I can't even back it up going reverse. So at this point, I have to sell the car for whatever it's worth. So probably about $800-ish. Somebody can use it for an engine swap or whatever. And then, thankfully, I still do have the rims that I can sell, so that's another $600 maybe. But even if I get talked down, I end up with over $1,000, probably about $1,000 out of this. If I get $1,000 all told, I'll be okay. But I'm currently on the market for a new vehicle. In fact, I just got message back from somebody I was talking with today that he just sold his, so my number one choice is off the market. And I have to do something I did not want to do, and that is borrow money from my dad. And it was his idea. I didn't ask him. He offered to lend a hand, but I really didn't want to. After my failed attempt at fixing my car, I cried for about 5 minutes, and then went inside, fed my cat, and then took a walk. And I felt much better after my walk. I've been taking those walks, actually. Let me get on a positive note here, because that's a depressing start. I apologize. I did not mean to bring the mood down here.
I mean, hey, vulnerability.
It just is what it is, but I don't mean to bring the mood down. But I've been taking walks regularly. In fact, I will be taking one tonight because I didn't take one last night, and I felt like shit when I went to bed because I didn't take the walk. Not for any other reason. I just, I'm like, fuck, I could have taken a walk today, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I love my walks. So tonight I will be taking one when we're done here. I might eat first. I might not. As soon as I end the recording, I might just go outside. Depending on how dark it is, if you see it get dark, I will go out right away because
Night
I
walks.
only walk when it's dark.
Hit.
And thankfully
Night
it's
walks.
November, so at 6
Yeah.
p.m., even in Florida in the sunshine, even if it's at 6 p.m., I can go outside. I usually wait a little later, but also it's just less busy. There's less noise. Sensory overload's not as bad. There's not as much going on. It's not as busy. Like, it's just me and my thoughts. And I'm just chilling. Like, I had this epiphany the other night while I was walking, which was really nice. And, you know, like, just walking around, like, the sidewalk around my apartment complex. That's it. You know, nothing crazy. Not going nowhere. Just taking a leisurely stroll outside. And I love it. And it's good exercise. Walking is fun. I've always liked walking around. Just loafing about, you know. So the walks are good. And,
Yeah. I think I go on about. I generally probably go on about 3 walks a day because right now, because I work out in the morning, so I walk. I walk my sister's dog before, and then I walk my dog after, and then I usually go on like a night walk with one of the dogs later.
Yeah.
Night walks hit the hardest for sure.
Yeah, but the tipping point for me was like the one thing, and I had thought about it. You know, when dealing with this car, I'm like, fuck, if this doesn't work, like, I really don't want to have to borrow money from my dad. And then while I was texting with him, because he's more of a car guy than I am, so he was the one who told me like, hey, go get some stop slip, get a quart of transmission fluid, whatever. So you know, I was texting him again, telling him, hey, it's not working out. Like, now when I go into drive, like there's some kind of grinding noise. It sounds like the gears are grinding. Like, it's probably even worse off now than it was before I added stuff in there. And then, you know, he said, you know, it's not looking good. And then when I got the text saying like, I'm always happy to lend a hand or whatever, that's when I lost it. I'm like, fuck, like, you know, I don't even have to add, like, he's offering. And I felt like shit because it's the one thing I did not want to resort to. Not because I'm afraid of, like, you know, paying it back or whatever, because I'm not, like, whatever. It's something I can do. It's just I really pride myself on my independence, you know, because I mean I moved out on my own like before all of my friends did in terms of like living by myself, completely financially independent. Like, everybody else I know is either in college or living with somebody. Okay, this is not a dig at you. I'm so sorry. This sounds like it's not a dig at you, but I mean like everybody else is either in school right now or living at home or like I know somebody who's living with his girlfriend, but I think his mom is paying their rent.
Dude, how great must that be?
That's the fucking life right there.
To just get your rent paid and have someone there to fuck.
They both work full time too, but they might pay their rent. I'm not sure. I don't want to like, but either way, there's 2 incomes. I've got 1 income. It's just me, just little old me.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, so, like, I was, you know, just really proud of myself that this was something I was able to do, and it's something I'm able to sustain. But,
Bo's gonna have to start chipping in.
Yeah, I keep telling him, man, you don't even fucking
start selling paw picks
in here. But, yeah, I'll start selling. I'll get on Paw Finder. We'll figure it out. But, you know, like, having to borrow money was not something I ever wanted to do because I never wanted to rely on anybody else to get me out of a tight spot. Even if I plan on paying it back, which of course I do, like, it's not something I ever wanted to have to do. So,
of course,
you know, I came back to this feeling of like, you know, I can't get this done on my own. Like, I'm incapable. And not that anybody said that to me. It's just, that's just how I internalized it, just being in this situation. And, you know, like I said, 5 minutes later, like, I felt better. It's like, it is what it is. So I got up, I ate something, I fed the cat, I went for a walk. And I'm going to bust open this Dr. Pepper.
Oh, yeah.
Shout
that bust open
my number one
caused
soda,
a green flash.
Yeah, no, it's too powerful.
But yeah, I've been sipping a lot of DP. Yeah, sipping a lot of DP.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nice callback. I did not plan. I did not plan for this week's top 3 at all.
Oh fuck! What are we doing for top 3?
It was your idea. Top 3 letters.
Top 3 letters. Oh shit! You're right. Letters of the alphabet. That was my choice.
We'll get there. I know my number 1.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Shit. All right. I'll drum it up as we go. But since you're here with me today, so why don't you go over your team's? You go.
Dude, I don't fucking
You don't have to spend much time on this if you want.
I don't, because it is weirdly enough, it's still the same shit.
It is the same shit. Yeah, it's.
it's like it's less of the same shit. I don't know. It's the same shit for the team in a multi-year view. It's like I guess it's the first loss like this season because even the Niners one was like a blowout. We got blown out.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get blown out against the Eagles, but it's just. And I also turned the game off.
One of those.
Because I was like, I know this team. I'm done.
Yeah.
I turned it off like probably. I probably turned it off during the third quarter, if I had to guess. I don't remember when exactly, but I was like, I know this team, and I turned it off because it's just I don't know. Because it comes back to the same point I had earlier in the season of you have to have either an elite play caller or an elite quarterback to have a good offense in the NFL.
Or at least a Super
one
Bowl
that you can win
offense.
with. Yeah, Super Bowl caliber. Yeah. And like I said, I was like, Dak is good. Dak is not elite. Dak is good. Dak is not great.
Yes, I would agree.
Mike McCarthy is bad.
Yeah. I mean, Packers fans could have told you that when you hired him. In fact, they did. They did tell you that.
They did. And I think for the most part, at the moment, I think Cowboys fans were probably like, I think we were like, really? Like, okay, there's a decent.
No one was excited about it.
No, the idea was like, okay, there's a decent floor here,
there's an adult
but that's
in the room.
it. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It was like, did we make a lateral move from Jason Garrett? And it's like, yeah.
Probably.
I guess we got slightly better because I think we've
just a little. I think
we've gotten better.
Culturally, there's a difference. I think.
Yeah, but what coincides with that? Getting Micah Parsons, getting Dan Quinn.
Yeah. Which I think Dan Quinn's a big part of the culture shift too. It's not like
Dan Quinn
he's a presence in that coaching.
I've told you this. Like I will take what I would prefer, and I've talked about it because like I've said, Mike gone. Have to. Absolutely have to. I think this is a loss. Jerry, I think he likes Mike, but I think he was able to get rid of Jason Garrett, who had been a Dallas Cowboy. I think he'll have an easier time getting rid of Mike.
Yeah.
From a personal standpoint, Mike is having slightly more success,
but it's not enough.
It's not enough. But we're having the losses that Jerry will very easily be able to look at and be like, that's not going to cut it. Yeah. Losing to the Niners the way we do, losing to the Eagles like this, when we lose in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to reiterate some of the same stuff I've said before. Like, I'm very much open to and probably would prefer a change of quarterback. Mm-hmm. I don't expect it.
Right.
But my fear, though, is the contract, because there was talk about negotiations before the season. We're going to really have them after the season. We cannot pay Dak the same. Whatever his last contract, whatever it placed him at the time, we can't do that same thing again. But Mike has to go. I've said before, my dream would be Ben Johnson.
Of course.
And then
everybody's dream is Ben Johnson.
Everyone's dream is Ben Johnson.
I want Ben Johnson. I want to trade Vrabel to. Well, I'll talk about that later. Hang on.
Yeah. But I think the Cowboys are still in tight. It just depends on who has the one pick. Like, it just depends on. We'll have to see how the options really flesh out for Ben Johnson to pick from, because it's like before, like there was a point in the season where it's like if the Bears have the 1 and 2 pick, that's an easy go-to for him.
Slam dunk, yeah.
We'll see what happens, but like I think the Cowboys will still always have an enticing enough job with how our defense looks. Especially if you're an offensive guy, it's like, okay, I know the defense is going to do their thing. I trust myself to do the offense. We'll be good.
Yeah.
My dream would be Ben Johnson and we retain Dan Quinn somehow. That's the dream, obviously. I would would prefer making Dan Quinn head coach over running it back with Mike.
Yeah.
Because I think Dan Quinn, he's gotten better. I mean, this is probably the best coordinating he's ever done.
For sure, because he's not just a cover 3 merchant now. He's not even running cover 3 that much. They're like Cowboys in the bottom half the league in cover 3.
He's shown he's been able to change and adapt there.
Yes.
I could assume it could expand. I would take making him head coach and just taking a shot at an offensive coordinator somewhere.
You would assume he can adapt as a head coach as well as a coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Get better in that regard too.
But I don't know. I would if the Cowboys traded up for a quarterback in this draft, because it obviously wouldn't be Caleb Williams or Drake May.
No.
If we traded up for anybody, I would be like, you know what, I respect this.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'd have to, as long as they have the grade of a first-round quarterback. I'm not in the thick of it for the draft stuff to speak on who it could be, but my God, I would respect the shot.
Yeah.
What I want to see is Trey Lance play. I said that after the Niners loss.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed either because I'm like, all right, let's see, let's try something.
Yeah.
But we're not going to do that because also Dak is actually playing. Dak's playing a lot better.
Well, yeah. And also, you're not bad enough for you to be in your team to be in the mode of like, all right, let's just play the young guy because you're in the playoff picture. You're the 6th seed right now, and you're just a tiebreaker with Seattle. The only reason they're above you, you have the same record. So
and it's because our roster is elite.
Yeah,
like if we go roster for roster with the NFL teams, it's like okay, Niners are better.
Let's go band for band.
Yeah, it's like who's really better as a full roster? It's like Niners, probably Eagles.
Yeah.
And even then, I think that one's still close, and I think it's inches.
It proved, especially the game was in.
It's inches.
Yeah.
And then if you factor in home field advantage, maybe that sways the inches. I still think warning for our predictions here. I still think we split with them, but I don't know. After the Niners lost, me and my aunt, who's the only other family member who's a fan of the Cowboys, we both were just like, if we don't got it this year. And she was like, I'm going to root for the Chiefs. She's been a Travis Kelce fan since before it was cool for white women to root for Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And obviously, you could probably guess which team. I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to root for this team.
Yeah.
Who day.
But
that's all I got to say. It's the same shit with this team.
Yeah. I do have one thing to add in regards to like the hope that you might fire Mike McCarthy. Is that there's something to be said about there are some GMs or owners in the league who are willing to keep mediocre front offices employed because as long as you're just good enough to sell tickets, that's all some owners care about. That is never going to be a problem in Dallas. You will never have any concern with getting Cowboys fans to come to games. It's the fucking Cowboys. As long as the star is on the helmet, people are going to be coming to games. So, in terms of hey, this is not good enough, we need to be better.
It's
you can afford that there because you're not going to lose out on ticket sales if you whiff on the next head coach hire.
And Jerry, like the control that he has is what scares some top head coach candidates away.
Fair enough.
And it just sucks. The annoying part is it's like I look at it and I've said this before multiple times on this pod. I don't blame Jerry for having that thought because he does hold up his end of the bargain.
He's a good evaluator of talent. Like guys better. Like Chris Ballard's better. There's probably a few other guys.
He drafts so fucking, and I get it that he's listening to the people around him that influences this, but also being able to listen to the people around him on these draft decisions is another
especially when you
big
own the
thing.
Team. That's very.
But it's like fuck. How many years of the sample size is this of being really good at draft? I think the stat was for a while was like since 2006, the only team to have drafted more Pro Bowlers was the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, okay, shit, I can't, I'm not going to be mad at him.
Pretty well. The issue is the utilization of that talent has always been the
What's funny is, okay, hey, the Rangers won a World Series, so I've got a team that's won a championship that I can just be happy about. And also, the Cowboys the Mavericks are like, they're excelling at what the Cowboys just can't. And the Mavericks this year, they've been playing with their food. They keep these games extremely close, games that they shouldn't. The Cowboys blow out the teams that they should beat. But clutch time, all of the Mavericks games this year, except for the Denver loss, have been clutch time games.
Yeah.
We've won all of them. We're 6-1 right now because we're dominating in the clutch. And then there's the Cowboys who are like start off hot, beat the teams that they should, but cannot win these games. It's so funny.
Mavericks have been a really good second half team to start the season. Don't ask me about the Grizzlies. I ain't gonna talk about it.
I'll shouldn't have traded Tyus Jones for Marcus Smart. That's what that was.
I warned people trading Tyus Jones, regardless, especially with John Morant out for the first 25 games.
That's what was crazy.
You trade the best number 2 point guard I'm going to say the best number 2 point guard in the NBA. If he's your second best point guard, like especially with how he's had the best assist to turnover ratio in the league like 3 straight years now, maybe 4, and you're trading him. And I like Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's not playing bad at all. But what Tyus Jones brings to a team as a facilitator, as a decent shooter as well, like he can give you some nights where he can score 17, 18, 19, 20
And
points off the bench.
why Marcus Smart works so well in Boston was because it's like he didn't need to create that much because it was like fuck it, we'll give it to the Jays and they're gonna go hit some. They're gonna go hit their Jays.
And look, as good as Desmond Bain is, like he's better when John Morant's on the floor. Quite frankly,
Yeah,
I think because he's not the only offensive threat out there. That's the thing. If Bain is your only, and quite honestly, without John Morant, Bain is the biggest. Obviously, Jaren can put up points any night, but there are some nights he's only scoring like 8. You know what I mean?
that
It's not
is
like
also how he scores. Like he scored like 30 against the Mavs, and I
yeah,
was like, I didn't notice.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I like. I've never been a huge Taylor Jenkins guy. I warmed up to him over the last couple of seasons because, especially last year, because getting the 2 seed it's pretty impressive. But um, I I wouldn't be opposed to firing him right now. To be honest with
oh
you, I've
shit.
never been a Taylor Jenkins fan. So like, if we
This
continue to
type of
just
start,
be, if we
probably.
continue to be, now we did finally get a win against the Trailblazers, and we got our lick back because we had just played them 2 days prior. So I think that was a couple nights ago we picked up our first win. So I think we started out like 0-6. So we're 1-6 now. I think either 0-5 or 0-6, and then we finally won our first game.
Oh, y'all went 0 and
Uh,
7.
Maybe I don't fucking know. We have a win. We have one win though, and it was our
Yeah.
last game. Um, it's gonna be a long season until Ja gets back, and it might be too late by then because that's over a quarter of your season spent. Like that's like 2/5 of your season spent without Ja Morant. It's bad. Um,
Standings. Let's see. 1 and 6. So yeah, you guys must have lost 6.
yeah.
Jesus. Worst team in the NBA right now.
All right, man. You ain't got to do all that.
Oh, sorry, like just in terms of win percentage or whatever.
No, I get
Because
it.
the only other 1-win team is the Wizards, but they're 1 and 5,
Yeah.
not 1 and 6.
No, the Wizards going on a deep playoff run this year. You're not ready.
Yeah.
So we got. I guess this is probably the longest we've gone without getting into Titans talk. We're 27 minutes in.
But we're getting into it now.
We are going to discuss. So I actually, I think I told you this. I might not have. I had a nightmare last night. Did I tell you?
Okay.
Did I tell you?
I don't think so,
I
but
actually had a couple of rough dreams, but the one that stood out to me the most, I had a nightmare. In my nightmare, I got a little tweet. Can you guess what this tweet might have said?
oh, like a tweet, like
Like a tweet notification. Yeah, on my phone. I got a
oh,
tweet
okay.
notification. Can you guess what this tweet might have said?
That Ryan Tannehill is going to be the starter for the Titans.
He sure was. And I threw my phone. I was so
That's one of those dreams where you wake up and you're like, "Fuck, was that real? That could have been real."
Well, no, because I'm like, fuck, today's the day that Vrabel announces the starter. And sure enough, 2 p.m. Eastern rolled around today. And he immediately said, Will Levis will be the starter for the remainder of the season. Which was the obvious choice. It
Obviously.
was. But it's Mike Vrabel. There is no such thing as obvious
The
with Mike
Braves.
Vrabel because he treats every bit of information like nuclear launch codes. He does not want to tell anybody anything ever. Least of all the fans. I'm convinced Vrabel Vrabel just hates us because he doesn't share anything. And I get it. It's not his job to necessarily share all the details, especially when he can gain a competitive advantage from not doing it. But half the
That
time,
Patriots
half the
mindset.
time he has nothing to gain. He's just being a dick. To be quite honest with you,
Like every team is like, we know if you're smart, you're playing Will Levis.
Levis, right? Like
that's already what we're planning
and
on here.
even then, you gain nothing by debating Tannehill or Levis because the defensive coordinator's game plan is not going to be any different because they're very similar. Like, excuse me,
Play style.
prototypes. Of course, obviously Levis is going to throw it deep more, but it's not like Tannehill. Tannehill's big time throw percentage is still in the top half of the league this year. It's not like Tannehill can't threaten a defense deep at all.
He's bombing.
But however, Will Levis has by far and away only 2 games, but by far and away the biggest big time throw percentage in the NFL. Blows everybody else out of the water. Now his turnover worthy play rate is about league average, so that's not ideal.
That's pretty good.
But it's not terrible, especially for the knock on Will Levis was that he certainly made some decisions in that Steelers game. Um, that I wasn't too fond of, especially on that last drive. Granted, the last two throws like I could live with because he had to have it, but it was earlier in the drive where DeAndre Hopkins had to play CB1. That was a terrible throw. Like just bad decision, bad everything. Like don't throw that ball. You have like a minute left and a timeout, and you're throwing that pass like ridiculous. But there was a throw during the game, one of the best throws you'll see all year, where he is getting sacked as he throws this. He has both cleats off the ground. He is completely in the air. And he throws the pass to Nick Westbrook-Akine 25 yards to the right with decent velocity, considering he's in the fucking air. No leg power in this whatsoever. And it's like on the numbers. It's a pretty accurate pass. And I was watching the bootleg football live stream. I was watching the VOD from it, and EJ goes, "That's football throwing porn right there."
Yeah, you posted that clip, right?
I did, yeah, and
yeah,
that's pretty accurate. I mean that throw was absurd, and we're going to see that from Levis every single week. Yeah, I imagine we're going to see, and I'm glad Levis was announced as a starter because I was going to sell my Titans at Buccaneers ticket if Tannehill was announced as the starter. I probably would have bought another one that's like up in the nosebleeds, but I got a decent seat and I did not.
Be a good game.
Yeah, could be a good game. I'm excited, especially considering all the yardage and touchdowns Tampa's defense just allowed to another rookie quarterback from the AFC South.
So they're going to really clamp up this week.
That's my fear. Yeah.
Granted, we'll get into it during predictions.
We'll talk about it, but. I mentioned something earlier about trading Mike Vrabel. I had somebody tell me today, like, so you still want to fire Vrabel now after he announced, like, as if Vrabel's supposed to get points for making the obvious choice? No, I would have just wanted him fired on the spot had he said Tannehill's the starter. But just because he says Levis is the starter doesn't mean I still don't want to trade him to New England. If we can get a first-round pick out of it, are you fucking kidding me? New England could have a top 5 pick this year, easily.
We're not trading that one.
Well, they'd probably trade next year's. I doubt they would trade this year's. But even if you're getting a 2020...
Because they're about to draft like Drake May.
Even if you're getting a 2025 first-rounder, though. You know what I mean? I'm taking that in a heartbeat for Mike Vrabel.
Dude, like just 32nd overall. That's for... Fuck it.
Yeah, especially if they give us like, what, their second-round pick this year. And then... Do they have a second-round pick this year? I think they do. I don't think they've made any kind of crazy trade. I'm just going to assume they do. Second-round pick this year and 2024 first-round pick. I'm taking that in a heartbeat. I'm like, I will pack his luggage for him myself. Like, especially if... we got to get in line, but especially if we can get Ben Johnson out of it, like... Especially if he...
You're right, dude. Every team.
Like I said, you have to get in line. If you want Ben Johnson, like, who can make him the best offer? Will Levis is an enticing piece. Like, everything about what Will Levis does for the Titans as a rookie with promise and really insane talent is that, one, you have $100 million of cap space to spend this free agency cycle, and two, you've got a young quarterback. So what this could mean for free agents that want to come play here, they know they can get paid, and they know they can play with a promising young quarterback. For head coach candidates like Ben Johnson, you can have money to do what you want to do. You have a a general manager who prides himself on his ability to collaborate with other people to build and maintain relationships. So you're going to come into a front office with a guy that wants to work with you, no matter who you are. It does not matter who we bring in. Like, Rand Carthon's going to just be respectful and go about his business, and then you get to coach Will Levis. I feel like that's. You got a decent start but especially if you get a first-round pick from Mike Vrabel. Now we're really talking. So I don't think it's likely. I'm not saying this like this is going to happen. I don't think there's like some absurd chance that Mike Vrabel gets traded in this offseason. However, if it does happen, there's quite a few guys that I would like, but of course Ben Johnson being option number one. But I'm excited for this week's game. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have a lot of fun, I'm sure, and I hopefully won't get shot for cheering just a little too hard if something good happens, because I am behind enemy lines. So
be careful. There's been some crazy stuff going on with football fans and fights this year.
There was a shooting 20 minutes from my apartment just a couple weeks ago in Ybor, which is where I'm going for my birthday in 5 months.
Mm.
So yeah, we'll see. But what do we got now?
I think it's time that we get into our midway NFL season award picks.
Hell yeah.
This we're not projecting right now. This is what I'm doing at least. I guess we didn't talk about this too much.
Yeah.
I'm picking right now who I would have win.
Yeah. Well, we're projecting for the playoffs, of course. We're not having our.
Well, yeah, when we get there, we
Yeah.
are projecting that.
Yeah, but for these awards, I don't know. I think I'm doing half and half. Like for the most part, this is also who would I think would win right now. But I am also like I don't think that's going to change. Like
I see some that could.
I think MVP is still up for grabs. However, my choice, I still think he's going to solidify that he's got it by the end of the year.
That is one I could see changing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's up for grabs. Like it's not a closed.
I think. All right, this is my guess. I think we agree on MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I think we agree. We probably agree for both Rookie of the Years.
We definitely agree for offensive. I don't think it's really debatable right now. After, well, okay, I don't want to be disrespectful to somebody else, but there's somebody else who has not done quite as much.
You know
in the
what?
last couple of weeks.
Let's just get
get into it.
MVP. Let's start from the top. I think we both have Lamar Jackson.
We sure
MVP.
do. And like I said, this is not an
easy
open
pick.
And shut case. No. I wouldn't want to count out anybody, but in terms of, I think he's having a better season than Patrick Mahomes is right now. He's not a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes, but he's having a better year, and they are both 7-2. And in terms of Jalen Hurts and the value that he provides to that Eagles team, how many turnovers does Jalen Hurts have? It's already double digits.
If he didn't win it last year, he's not going to win it this year.
No, because the value he's bringing to that team really isn't absurd. In terms of like, I don't know quite how much I really make literal the word value in MVP because sometimes it does come down to who is just the best player. But Jalen Hurts is neither the best player nor is he the most valuable to his team. If Lamar Jackson was not on the Ravens, it wouldn't be disastrous because their defense is
playing really good.
Is something I will discuss a little bit later in the awards section. Spoiler alert. But Lamar Jackson's my MVP right now. He's awesome. I think they would be undefeated if his wide receivers could catch. And in general, their wounds have been self-inflicted. Nobody has actually beaten the Ravens this year. The Ravens have beaten themselves twice, and they've won the other 7 games. So
all right, we'll get it. Man, we are gonna have some. We're gonna have some talks later.
We're gonna have some talks.
But to me, MVP right now is Lamar. I think runner-up would probably be Mahomes, and
I'm with you.
I think Burrow is playing himself back into this conversation.
He's got some ground to make up still because of how
he still
disastrous
does.
It was the first few weeks.
But
he's getting on his.
But the thing is, him being injured, and we see what the team looks like with an unhealthy Burrow versus what we're seeing with a healthy Burrow. I think adds to the narrative, which is very important,
I agree.
and bringing out the point of value. And I picked some games, man, and it is on the table. Like he'll have the standings needed to win that award. But right now my rankings probably goes Lamar, Mahomes, and then to me right now that is just the two. But I do project Burrow to really play himself.
Two-man race, but I'm with you in terms of like, could I see Burrow being there by week 13 or whatever? Could he be like right there in the thick of things? Absolutely. Like I said earlier, a month from now, or I said this before we started recording, but like there's a lot of things that I feel like look a certain way today, but a month from now can be completely different, especially in the AFC.
I had the Jets making playoffs last time we did this.
I did too. I'm pretty sure.
I don't have them anymore.
It's been a rough month for the
rough. I had the Cowboys winning the division a month ago. I do not have that anymore.
Tiny rough stretch for the Cowboys.
It's just been a rough week, but it's just a fucking what the fuck kind of week. Trying to think of some others. We'll get into it, but I think
if the Bills had a better record, you could maybe argue.
What are they, 5-4 right now?
Something like that. They're out of the playoff picture right now. They're the they're the 8th seed. Like you can't be the MVP in an 8 seed. It doesn't work that way.
No. I don't even think you could be the MVP in and not be the division winner.
I think rare exception.
Probably,
very rare
but
exception. If you're like, what do you call it? If you're the 5th seed with like a better record than most other division winners in your conference, and the other reason you didn't win your division is because the other team has just like a world class defense, and like everything besides the quarterback position is just better than what you have on your team, and you've clearly willed yourself to being as good as them just based on your quarterback. But I mean, I don't even know what scenario that would be the case.
I can't see it in the modern NFL right now, where we are right now.
No,
you have to win your division, and that's what makes the Burrow-Lamar thing so interesting. Not just this year, but years to come. That is always going to be what's talked about between the two.
That's an exciting. Lamar is actually the younger of the two, which is fun to think about because he's been in the league 2 years longer. But Lamar is a little bit younger than Burrow. But Will Levis is younger than Trevor Lawrence, which is another fun one. Or excuse me, older. I'm sorry. Trevor Lawrence is younger than Will Levis.
Let's play this game with Stetson Bennett.
I think he's older than Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
There's probably a lot we could do with Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett is older than...
Do you want to do Defensive Player of the Year or Offensive Player of the Year
Stetson
first?
Bennett's the same age as Juju, who's been in the league since 2017. But we'll do Offensive Player first. We'll do offense, then defensive, then offensive,
okay.
then defensive.
Let's see. I'm going to try to guess beforehand if we agree or not for each of these.
It's the coldest white boy in the league for this one.
Okay, we agree.
Yeah, come on now. This was our pick in the quarterly segment. I don't think he's done anything to change that. He's still a weekly touchdown machine.
Yeah, this touchdown streak is absurd, historic. The only thing I could see that would not take him out of it, but like make him lose it is if Tyreek Hill. First of all, if the Niners don't win their division and the Dolphins do win their division,
they will.
And Tyreek has the 2,000 yards, I could see him taking it from him.
Yeah.
But even then, I think if he could, let's say he keeps this touchdown streak for the rest of the season, I do think that's more impressive than 2,000 yards.
I don't know. I'd have to wait until the end of the year to really decide who said. But I mean, it is definitely a 2-man race right now, no question about it. Because Justin Jefferson's injury has definitely taken him out of it. Because he was certainly right in the thick of things before, prior to his injury.
I don't think his team is winning enough, and I know that Offensive Player of the Year doesn't have the same weight. But
winning. They're 5-4 now. They're in the playoff picture. They're the 7th seed, so it's a little better. But they're winning more actually without him, funny, which has nothing to do with him. But if that's not a narrative, and thank goodness it isn't, because it'd be a really fucking stupid one. Are the Vikings better without Justin Jefferson? No. The answer is so obviously no.
God, I hate when people do those dumbass
dude. They do it with John Morant all the time. We're 1-6.
They do it with Luka. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? They're like, guys, the offense for the Mavs is better when Luka's not on the court. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. He is probably he's a top 2 offensive engine in the NBA behind probably only Jokic. Like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Okay, people cut a little more, and there's a little more movement because
you have to.
Okay. It's more spread out. That's the difference.
Which is exactly what it was with Memphis. When you have a facilitator like Tyus Jones, it's okay if John Morant's not on the court because you've got one of the best facilitators in the league and you've got an offense that can spread out. Yeah. But we don't have Tyus Jones anymore, so whatever.
Yeah, but
if we had Tyus Jones, we'd probably be closer to like 3-4, 4-3 right now, 100%.
All right, so we both agreed on Offensive Player of the Year. I think if I had to guess, I'm going to guess. I guess we both agree on Defensive Player of the Year. If I had to guess.
This one was the toughest one for me to pick because there are a ton of legitimate candidates, and like there's really 3 main guys. There's a 4th one, but I'm just gonna say Max Crosby is not a candidate because the Raiders kind of suck.
Yes,
so
I talked about this last time we did this. Right, I think winning and making playoffs actually does matter for this position. I went through it, but like it's actually rare that people who aren't in the playoffs win.
It was like 2 guys in the span of 30 years or some bullshit like that. It was ridiculous.
It was. I think I might still have it. I could probably find it, but if you want to.
Regardless, it really comes down to T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, and Michael Parsons, and
those are the 3.
Those are definitely the 3.
It's 7 since 1971.
Yeah. So.
And one of them was Michael Strahan breaking the sack record, and J.J. Watt I mean,
having just
the names alone.
having an absurd season. Yeah, one of the best
Yeah,
seasons ever.
there's a Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Michael Strahan, Ed Reed, Jason Taylor, J.J. Watt, and Cortez Kennedy.
Yeah, so I think I did ultimately end up settling on Micah Parsons, but this to me is.
You don't agree then? This is interesting.
Well, it's interesting that you didn't go Micah here, but I'm thinking about. I see. This is a bit more of a projection pick for me, because I'm thinking about the sustainability of the way Pittsburgh and Cleveland are winning.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is so weird. You're making the point I made last time when I make Micah and why he will win it, and like I'm not doing that angle this time.
It's a really interesting reversal here, but I'm concerned about the potential. Like I said before we started, the NFC, the playoff picture looks about as predictable as it gets, and then in the AFC, I have no idea if it's even going to look the same 2 weeks from now, much less a month or by the end of the season. Like this has just could become how the NFL is running right now. There's just way more contest in the AFC, and Pittsburgh and Cleveland are both currently in the playoff picture, but there's a lot of teams on the outside looking good. Like I have a hard time keeping Houston out of it long term if CJ Stroud. He's not going to put up 470 yards and 5 touchdowns every week, but he is going to give you like top 10 quarterback play for the rest of the season. Because honestly, he is already there.
He is.
I firmly believe he is a top 10 quarterback in the league.
That's what I forgot to do during the Cowboys thing. I was gonna list quarterbacks that are better than Dak Prescott.
And Stroud is probably already there.
Stroud is. Like he was the one who made me think about doing that segment. Yeah. I won't do it right now. Maybe I'll do it later.
But I'm with you.
I'll save it for our next loss.
In fact, Dak might be like 10th for me, and Stroud might be 9th.
Dak is also playing better, right? Like better than he had been, not better than Stroud, but he's playing better than he had been.
Right.
His movement is what's like. Oh, thank God this is back. But anyways,
but the long term projection for me is that I'm just not sure either Cleveland or Pittsburgh hangs around in the playoff picture long term.
I think I'm going to agree with you projecting Micah Parsons because I also. Spoiler, I don't have the Browns or Steelers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think projecting, I'll agree with you that it's going to be Micah Parsons.
Today, it might not be him. It could very well be T.J. Watt.
I went with the other.
You went with Myles Garrett. Well, see, again, it could very well be Myles Garrett. Like
I think Myles Garrett has
the tightest race.
I think right now it's a little comfortable for him as Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. I
didn't check the stats before we started this, so maybe
neither have I. But I'm just remembering from stuff I had seen. I think the Browns defense right now is better than the Steelers defense.
In terms of dominant performances, like throughout the season, he's had like 3 games this year. One of them was against the Titans, where he simply just took over the game defensively. Right. And unfortunately, one of those games was against Indy, which they somehow ended up losing. I'm pretty sure, right? No, they won that one last second.
They did win.
They did, okay.
But the defense didn't. The defense gave up like a lot of points. But Myles Garrett individually still went fucking crazy.
Yeah, but so I think that's the strongest argument Garrett does have is that. But granted, T.J. Watt kind of does that same thing. Sometimes
I don't think he's done it to the level Garrett has
with
this year.
Usually, Garrett's best game is better than T.J.'s best game. It's almost kind of like a Josh Allen thing with Myles Garrett. Where because I firmly believe Josh Allen's best game is better than any quarterback's best game, but he doesn't do it every week. Whereas I think Garrett, even I wouldn't say Garrett has like 4 to 5 bad games a year like Josh Allen does. It's not a perfect comparison, just in terms of like taking over a game, just being that dude. And I think that is Garrett's best argument, and I think I might even say it's Garrett right now, because I did forget that he does that a lot.
And like I said earlier, I think the Browns defense right now, I would say, is better than the Steelers right now.
I'm with you.
Also, I think Alex Highsmith is better. I'm trying to think who is Zadarius Smith, like Myles Garrett's duo right there in Cleveland right now.
Zadarius Smith, I'm pretty sure.
I would take Highsmith by a lot. Over
Zadarius Smith's still a very good player.
Still very good, but I think Alex Highsmith. he'll have a game every now and then where it's like, oh, he was better than TJ Watt. I don't see that with Smith over
No,
Garrett.
Zadarius Smith's not ever better than that.
And by the way, TJ Watt is still comfortably better than Highsmith, but it's just some flare-up games.
Highsmith does have that kind of performance as well in him.
Yeah,
I do. I love Alex Highsmith. I love who is it? They got Nate Herbig as well, or was it? Or fuck, I'm thinking who was the Wisconsin lineman? It was Herbig, right? They
I have
drafted
no
two
idea.
Wisconsin guys, didn't they? Because they drafted the interior guy too. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Let me Google this. Pardon me. Pardon the interruption here. But
Pardon me.
Keanu Benton is the defensive. Yeah, Nick Herbig. Okay. Nick Herbig and Keanu Benton. I believe they were both from Wisconsin. I could be wrong about Benton, but I know Herbig is Wisconsin. Herbig as well is like a very good, very good pass rusher that I think long term could be like probably the best third option at an outside pass rusher in the NFL. If you're looking at T.J. Watt and Highsmith being there, for maybe they don't pay Highsmith if Herbig continues to develop like this. Maybe they let Highsmith go after 4 years. I don't know that they will. That's not this is, and I'm getting a bit off topic here, but just in terms of I guess Pittsburgh. There's probably a little more help on the D line than maybe Garrett has. Not that Cleveland's D line is bad by any means, but I think maybe Pittsburgh's got a little more depth.
Yeah, I think we could probably move on.
I think so too.
I think we could do Offensive Rookie of the Year. It'll be a 2-second conversation.
It's C.J. Stroud.
It's C.J. Stroud.
Puka Nacua deserves a mention because he is
having
a phenomenal year, but it's been a little quiet.
It has been, as a fantasy owner of him, it has been a little quiet.
A little quiet. But what he's doing is still pretty historic, and I think
it's historic.
It's unfair not to mention him in the same breath, just because.
I mean, it's just unfortunate that we just saw the single greatest rookie quarterback game of all time.
We might be witnessing the best rookie quarterback season ever. In terms, it's Justin Herbert.
Probably
phenomenal, but in terms of week to week consistency, what we're seeing from C.J. Stroud, and
also he's only cost the Texans 2 possessions this whole season, because the one interception he had, the Saints fumbled it, and the Texans got it right back.
Yeah.
But I think he has 2 lost fumbles, and that's it. That's insane from a rookie quarterback.
Not to mention he has had several weeks where he's missing several starting offensive linemen.
The Steelers game is that's what really made people go, oh shit, because they were on some third string offensive linemen against the Steelers front.
5 starters against the Steelers front, and they won. And CJ was
convincingly.
And then I think Houston's weapons are underrated. I'm hearing a lot of ridiculous takes from people he's throwing to nobody. Tank Dell and Nico Collins are really fucking good players, and John Mechie has also come along quite a lot.
Based on fucking random ass Noah Brown game.
Yeah, also Noah Brown with a vintage 100-yard and a touchdown performance.
Vintage.
I don't know.
When the fuck has Noah Brown done that before?
I don't know, man. You disrespecting Noah Brown, man. I don't know. Let him cook. It's not like CJ is throwing to nobody. This is not a bad group of. Maybe there's no I wouldn't even say there's no true number one, because I feel like Tank Dell is starting to establish himself as one.
He is, dude. I have him. Oh, dude. We won't get into fantasy this week, but I'll just say, dude.
Yeah.
I've got Tank Dell in all 3 of the leagues. Oh man, that man's cooking for me.
Tank Dell's fantastic, and
I made the call. I was like, should I play? Because I had both. I had Nico Collins and Tank Dell. And I was like, I think Tank Dell is the better guy right now. Yeah. It was close, in terms of production. It's really close. It was really close. And I was like, you know what? I feel Tank Dell.
Yeah, and Nico Collins
caught a touchdown first. And I was like, fuck,
sure.
Did I pick the wrong guy? And then Tank Dell. I was like, never mind.
This is the Nico Collins I've been waiting to see for a couple of years now, because I'm always like Nico Collins, right? But I always knew there was an extra, there was a step up there, because he's got decent size, he's got good speed, there was always the potential for something really nice here, and he's become that. He's a very, very, very good wide receiver.
I don't want to talk about Nico Collins.
No, I want to say, because this may not be the perfect segment for this, but because Bryce Young had a really bad week for the first time in a while, I do want to mention I've seen some ridiculous takes from people.
Hold on. First time in a while.
You have not been watching Bryce Young the last few
Fuck
weeks.
no, I haven't, dude. They have one win.
Yeah, because the team is terrible. That's not Bryce Young's fault. Bryce Young was
The
playing.
team is terrible,
Bryce
but
Young was
I
no, no,
mean,
no. Bryce Young was playing good football up until this week.
good.
Yes, good football. If you watch Bryce Young is playing good football. This last week was really bad. I'm not defending his Colt performance.
All I've seen are lowlights.
Why are you looking for Bryce Young lowlights?
I'm not. I'm watching Red Zone, and every time they cut to a Panthers game on offense, it's him getting fucked. It's him. It's him throwing it to Aiden Hutchinson, who's running it back. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Bryce Young only has 2 multi-interception games this season. I'm pretty sure.
How many multi-touchdown games does he have this year?
Also 2, I think. Just 2 more than Ryan Tannehill.
Look, I'm not saying it's his fault, but it's like it's not. Look, CJ Stroud is clear and above.
That's not what I'm saying. Let me make my point here before I was so rudely interrupted by.
Well, sorry, you were like, hey, Bryce Young, hey guys, let's calm down.
No. I'm just saying I've seen some revisionist history from some morons. No, like this was like the most absurdly dumb thing I think I've read in a while. I saw somebody say anyone with a brain cell could tell you that Stroud was a better prospect than Young because Young had all the talent in the world at Alabama and Stroud did not have nearly as much at Ohio State. C.J. Stroud was throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr.
They had me until that very end. I was like, you know what? I've heard that take. I heard that take, and then it fell off at the end.
The take that Bryce Young had all the talent in the world at Bama is not even remotely valid. The only wide receiver he had was Jahmyr Gibbs, who is a running back. He had nobody to throw to.
Good fucking running back.
He had to elevate the wide receiver talent and the tight end talent at Bama, and he's doing the same thing in Carolina for the most part.
What offensive line talent did he have in front of him?
None. Bama's offensive line has been shit the last since Bryce took over. All the good players left when Mac Jones left. Bama's offensive line they're allowing the 5th most sacks in the country this year. They allowed a shit ton of sacks the last 2 years as well. Bama's offensive line is not good.
Bryce Young is going to have Drew Brees' career trajectory. It just won't work on the Panthers.
I don't dislike that take at all. I would love Bryce Young with a real competent team around. I do want to see what Bryce Young does with like. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Stroud. Like I'm already ready to admit I was wrong about Bryce being the better prospect. Stroud is phenomenal. Stroud is again top 10 as a rookie and like convincingly so. Only halfway through the season. This is not some Bryce Young is secretly better propaganda. No, if CJ Stroud was on the Panthers, they probably have about 3 wins right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they'd still be bad, but
I'm just saying the narrative about people are pretending that it was always so ridiculously obvious that CJ Stroud has always been the better player, as if Bryce Young didn't have to elevate a team with like Cameron Latu as his best pass catcher. Like, what are we doing? This is ridiculous. C.J. Stroud was throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then the year before that, he was throwing to Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm sorry, that's not talent.
I hate that you do this. You see one bad take, you see one tweet, and you're like, I gotta unload about this dumbass.
I've seen okay, you're right. I am targeting this one guy. This is the first time I've seen anybody like compare it this way, but I have seen a ton of people. Like anytime anything good ever happens with CJ Stroud, anytime anybody posts a highlight, the comments are just full of he was always the better prospect. Can you elaborate? Were you saying this during the draft? Like, were you?
I mean, a lot of people. I think a decent bit of people were, and it comes down to Bryce Young's size. There was plenty of people being like, "I can't draft a quarterback that size."
I don't think size is the reason Carolina's struggling right now. I don't think it's because Bryce is too small.
No, it's not. But like in terms of people like being like, I think he was the better prospect. I think there is probably. Bryce Young is one of the more scrutinized first-round picks that everybody knew was going to go first that we've seen in a while.
There were definitely people saying Stroud was better. Like, I'm not going to pretend like... And I'm not saying it was ridiculously obvious that Bryce was the better player. I'm just saying, like...
Were you saying that then?
The way... maybe I did. But I'm saying the argument that people are making... Because it's very easy to say this now, halfway through their rookie seasons, that...
Hold on. Actually, do you remember when Stroud was a bust during preseason?
Oh, it was hilarious.
It's just so funny to think about.
It is because people do this every year with Jamar Chase too. I was one of the
Oh
first
my
people to
god.
say, "Hey, calm the fuck down." He dropped 3 passes in the preseason. It doesn't fucking matter. He's gonna be fine. And sure enough, he was top 10 in his rookie year. Like, it's okay. Guys can have bad preseasons. It's not the end of the world. Um,
Yeah.
but I've said my piece on.
I think we should move on to
We
defensive
should,
rookie of the year.
and it's Spoon.
I said I wanted to do offensive. I thought we were going to do offensive rookie of the year quickly
Well,
and be able to
actually,
move on.
defensive rookie of the year is actually a conversation.
It is now.
But I honestly, at this point, this is half projection, half what he's been doing the last few weeks. I think it's Devon Witherspoon. Or Devin
I think
Witherspoon,
right now
however
it's
you say it.
Carter. I think I don't know. I just think
He
he's
has
the better
been a
player,
freak, and
especially at his position.
This is a 2-man race for sure. Like
It
this
is.
nobody else really has an argument. It's these two guys.
If the Seattle defense keeps looking like this, and both teams are going to win their division, or well, Eagles are going to win their division. I think Seahawks are going to win theirs.
Yeah.
So division winning won't matter as much, but I think the shock of the Seahawks winning over the Niners could be something that helps, and it's going to be partly because of their defense is going to help propel Devon Witherspoon to possibly winning Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I think this is the first time in a while that the two obvious best defensive players in the draft are both just exactly as advertised in the rookie year. Because last year,
right? I forgot Devon Witherspoon went so high because he missed the couple games in the beginning of the season.
He missed the first 2 or 3 to start the year.
And then he had his coming out party on national television against the Giants.
He's so awesome, dude. I love Devon Witherspoon. And I
Tariq Woolen is now at a better spot of being the CB2. He got a little overrated.
I think. Well,
he got a little overrated.
Well, he's a pretty one-dimensional player. I've been saying that for a very long time, and I'll continue to say it.
Yeah, you hate him, right? Yeah.
Sure.
That's what you said.
And Witherspoon's fantastic. Or not. Woolen is awesome. Like, I don't hate Tariq Woolen. I just don't think career projection he's going to be your. Now, I think this is one of the best cornerback duos in the league.
Some people tried to say Tariq Woolen was better than Sauce.
I definitely did not say that.
I know you didn't
in my life.
You did not. But I'm just saying,
I have always been a staunch Sauce is better, and it's honestly I was one of the people who said it wasn't close last year.
What's going on with Derek Stingley? I haven't heard about him in a while.
I'm not entirely sure. I think he's playing well. I don't know if he's been there every week. I haven't heard much from him. Granted, if you don't hear a corner's name too often, it probably means they're not getting torched ridiculously. So, if he's in the lineup, I guess he's not getting eviscerated. Because I don't hear people complain about him. So maybe he's just playing pretty good football.
Or just playing decent.
Yeah.
But anyways. I don't know. It sounds like we're in the same headspace about Witherspoon.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the same space about it being a 2-man race. I think I said I'm picking right now, so I have Carter projecting forward. Oh, I hate the Eagles, so I'll very easily be able to jump from to the Witherspoon side.
Maybe week 13 or 14, whenever we revisit this, you'll be on the Witherspoon train. We'll see.
I'm eyeing it down right now. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Long term. I think Carter might have the edge right this moment just because he has played, since week 1. Like Witherspoon did miss the first few games. But I think it's definitely going to be one of those two guys that wins it ultimately. Gonzalez, I thought, had an argument until
he was in there
injury.
for sure.
If Gonzalez was healthy, he'd probably be in this. It'd probably be a 3-man race because Christian Gonzalez is playing great football. But hopefully he's back healthy next year with Mike Vrabel as his head coach, and the Patriots have a terrible year so that we get a good draft pick. But Gonzalez,
do you want to talk about comeback player of the year?
Well, he hasn't played a snap yet. So is it DeMar Hamlin?
Has he played a snap?
For one game, did not play a snap.
I know because I knew he didn't play against the Bengals.
Right, but he has not. He's only been active for one game and has not played a snap. In that one game he didn't. So the thing was as soon as he steps on the field, but he hasn't stepped on the field. So is
him being on a roster enough?
See, I think him being alive, honestly, is enough. He literally came back from death. That's pretty impressive, obviously. So at the end of the it wouldn't upset me at all if he won it. I'm just not sure he's as much of a slam dunk unless he actually plays a snap at some point this year. I don't know if it's a slam dunk.
Yeah, But to me, it's like who else? And I'm going to say this: I hate when comeback player of the year is just used as most improved.
I think
Because it's like,
circumstantially,
yeah,
it's okay. Like when Ryan Tannehill won it in 2019, he didn't just win most improved. He literally turned the season around in Tennessee. That was the 2-4 team that after a quarterback change made the AFC Championship game. Like that's a little
but I'm
different than
just like,
just
I just
somebody
wish the
being.
NFL would add in a most improved then if they're gonna
I'm
if
with
that
you.
stuff counted.
I'm with you,
Because I'm
but
like, what did they come back from being ass?
well, the rule, the
It's
criteria does actually state poor play is something you can come back from. It is
I
actually
know, and
in
I
the
hate
award
that.
the
I
criteria
hate
for
it.
new. But I'm with you. There should just be a most improved player because that should be its own separate thing. I think comeback player of the year should be. Well, granted, it is still overcoming adversity. If you're ass and you go from being ass to being really good, you are coming back from
They should
something.
pick they should pick a Jets defensive player for overcoming. If they make playoffs for overcoming Zach Wilson's shitty play.
For overcoming not having Aaron Rodgers on offense.
Yeah,
Which it
but
sucks. I like it. Like if Aaron Rodgers, if you told me he was coming back like next week, I'd have the Jets in the playoffs. But
oh
it's not.
yeah,
It's not happening next week.
yeah. Give him a couple weeks.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna say Damar Hamlin is currently my pick for comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
But as far as like somebody to win it who
has played a
was
snap.
has played and is actually coming back. Um, who was
Tua, right?
I
Wasn't
guess he had some. He missed the playoff game. He missed a lot of games in the second half of the year last year. Tua is probably like off the top of my head, probably the highest up there. But
yeah,
who
I'm
had
not
like
looking into it.
who had like a season-ending injury last year? Excuse me, that came back like
I'm
I
looking
don't
at the
know.
teams right now. Let me scan them. Um,
Having a hard time with this one.
I don't know.
Stafford maybe, but he's already missed time this year too.
Yeah, he's
So
already out again. So
I'm gonna say Tua. I'm just gonna go like if it's not Damar Hamlin, it's Tua. If you're gonna give it to like a
yeah,
player that's actually playing, it's Tua.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, if Aaron Rodgers is able to come back, if Aaron Rodgers is able to come back within the season,
you never know. Yeah, I can
we'll
see.
see.
Um,
And also, Kirk Cousins is hoping Aaron Rodgers comes back in the middle of this season, so Kirk Cousins can be comeback player of the year next year.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, a future
let's
Niner,
see.
Kirk Cousins.
Uh,
If ever there was an
maybe.
off season for it, it's this one. So
The
we'll see.
Brock Purdy is opening up that fucking door every week,
Every week, yeah. I'm just, at
and they
this
play the
point,
Jags next
just
week, which
let
is tough.
Sam Darnold get a crack at it. Just
Might as
let
well.
Sam Darnold do because he at least gives you like, you have fun watching Sam Darnold. Whether he's playing good or bad, you have a grand old time watching Sam Darnold. Like just let him have a shot. Um, but we moving on to Coach of the Year, presumably, or do we
Coach
have
of the
any more
year.
picks for Comeback Player of the Year?
No, yeah, I was trying,
Okay,
I was prepping to switch over.
okay. I see
Um,
Dirk feet under the bed.
oh
Dirk
yeah,
feet.
are they
Hi, buddy.
shaking around?
Hi, buddy. Mm-hmm. Shaking around
Um,
nervously.
I've got I've got Motor City Dan Campbell.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, actually, I initially had Mike McDaniel, but I think at this point it is Dan Campbell. I kind of forgot for a second. It probably is Dan Campbell. I think
Yeah,
McDaniel's the runner-up though.
yeah, it's between them. There's just Owens 6-0 against losing teams, 0-3
3
against
against
winning
winning
teams.
teams.
That's pretty much taking him out of
Matters.
it.
John Harbaugh, I feel like has an option or has a horse in the
Yes.
race, but he's won it before, and it's not
Also,
like the Ravens are doing anything unexpected.
and
You
also
know,
Jared Goff, Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson, not the same.
Jared Goff is
Goff's
good.
playing
There's a
well.
difference there.
Goff is good. He's not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Um, Now, granted, I mean, who gets more credit for Goff? Is that Dan Campbell or is that Ben Johnson? I feel like that's Ben Johnson.
Yeah. That I
But
mean, yeah,
but
but
Dan
I think
Campbell
the
is coaching
entire
his ass
team.
off. He's
Yeah.
Dan Campbell is Mike Vrabel if he knew how to hire coordinators. That's what Dan Campbell is to me. In terms of like his role with the team, not the same personality. I think Dan Campbell
Okay.
is a
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
motivator.
I'll give you that. Then.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
like but Mike Vrabel's a bit more of a hard ass, but they both bring a toughness to their culture. That's the foundation of their culture is toughness.
They get insane buy-in.
And I think the primary difference between them is Dan Campbell is much better at building a staff than Mike Vrabel has proven.
Which should probably also come into play.
Absolutely, and I think that matters. If you're a CEO type coach, if you can build a good staff, like one that it shows you know what the fuck you're doing, but also it shows that you're letting the people who are in control have control. You're letting other people just handle their responsibilities accordingly instead of trying to do everything yourself, which Mike Vrabel has a tendency to do, and it hurts this team when he does it. So, I think it's probably Dan Campbell.
And then let's just go ahead and move on to assistant, or whatever it's called.
For assistant coach of the year, like who's the best coordinator.
This is the one that I have the least amount of opinion on because I'm just not as in the know for coordinators and the effect they're having.
It is 110% Mike McDonald of the Baltimore Ravens. Just coaching his ass off on that defense. It is absurd how good the Ravens defense is. If you have not watched a Ravens game this year, just watch that defense. I mean, they are. It's not just the fact that they rank so high in everything, but it's also their red zone defense has been ridiculous. They're just good in every facet of the game. Like you can't really run on them, you can't really throw on them. They will turn the ball over. Geno Stone leads the league in interceptions right now. So they will force turnovers and they will lock you down in the red zone. Like they're good at everything. They are, and they have a lot of injuries too. So they're making shit happen with second stringers. A lot of second stringers, anyways. Not like leading the league in them, but they recover well. They have good depth, and he's coaching his ass off. I love Mike McDonald. I think there's almost no shot he isn't a head coach this time next year. And if the Titans, I don't want to just make this Titans centric. If any team is going to hire a non-offensive head coach, it should be Mike McDonald. If you're not hiring Ben Johnson, if you're not hiring Bobby Slowick, if you're not hiring Dave Canales, or if you're not hiring Shane Waldron, go get Mike McDonald, please. Your team will thank you.
Okay, I just put Dan Quinn.
All right, that's fair. Yeah,
I'm just like, fuck it. I still think he's the best defensive coordinator, but I guess if I had to think about it a little longer, I think the Texans offensive coordinator for what he's doing with
Bobby Slowick is phenomenal.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean, I guess Ben Johnson could also always be in that conversation.
Yeah, and as much credit as you have to give C.J. Stroud for the performance he's having this year, Bobby Slowick for helping unlock what Nico Collins has always been capable of, Tank Dell for being the machine that he is.
Yeah.
Like you said, Noah Brown legacy game for no reason.
Fucking random ass.
I think Dalton Schultz had a decent game too.
Yeah, he's been great this year.
Yeah. He's been a very good, he's been what he's always been, just doing it to the highest degree. And
yeah. I think I'll be honest, I'm just excited to get into the next segment here. So do you want to do just announce division winners first?
We can just go 1 through 7 each for
1 through 7. Do you want to do NFC or AFC first?
We'll do AFC first.
AFC. All right. Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay, AFC. My number 1 seed, and it's always tough because I pick the games. I went on to the playoff predictors and I picked through all the games like I did last time. And it's always tough because I'm just like I'm having a hard time picking any team to beat this team when I look at their schedule. I got the Chiefs at the 1 seed.
Okay.
I have, and this is where I think we're going to get into some conversations.
Oh, brother. If you say Cincinnati, I'm going to shoot you.
At 3 seed, I've got the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, brother.
At the 4 seed, I've got the Jaguars. At the 5th seed, with the same record as the 2 seed, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, we are ending the recording now. It's been a great
episode,
guys.
At the 6th seed, I have the Buffalo Bills.
I'm not going to let any of you listen to this propaganda anymore. I'm going to catch you up.
At the 6th seed, I got the Buffalo Bills. And then at the 7th seed, sneaking in, I got the Houston Texans.
We have nearly identical playoff predictions. Except I'm not fucking retarded, so I've got Baltimore.
Whoa, okay, I don't need that. You don't need to be talking to me like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dude, look at did you
look?
How did you do this? Did you just go off vibes, or did you pick every?
I'm not
every
picking
game.
every game individually, but Baltimore has not lost a game. They've beaten themselves twice. I have a hard time believing.
So they can't do that.
They haven't. They've gotten their shit together. I'm sorry, Baltimore's the 1 seed. Nobody in the league is playing better football than Baltimore right now. I'm sorry, Baltimore's the best team in the NFL, much less the best team in the
Yeah,
NFC.
right now. But I'm just projecting. You know what, man? Fuck it. I'm projecting forward.
Man, fuck it. It's Baltimore.
What did I have? I think I had them losing 2 games the rest of the season. Like I thought.
I don't care. Baltimore number 1. All right.
Do you have them going undefeated the rest of the season?
Maybe losing one more, but I mean, this wouldn't be the first time they've gone. They've only lost 2 games. It happened in Lamar's second year. The last time Lamar won MVP, they only lost 2 games until Tennessee. But anywho, we've got Baltimore in the 1 seed.
Okay.
We've got Kansas City number 2.
Right.
Jacksonville number 3, because Miami. I like teams with a pulse. What are they gonna do? I struggle a bit with them, and Jacksonville has also just put together a really nice. They won 6 straight games, and they're probably gonna lose a game here soon because that's just how the NFL works. But they're playing great football. They're playing pretty complete football, and they can run the ball. They can throw the ball. They're playing good defense. Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams are one of the better cornerback duos in the NFL. Andre Sisco is giving them good safety play, and they're getting something out of the pass rush. Maybe not quite as much as they want, but it's not non-existent. And then, of course, Miami number 4, because at some point you just have to beat one of these teams that are good. You can't lose every game to the same caliber opponent. You have to beat, and I think they will beat Buffalo in the second matchup, but we got to see it. Number 5, I have Cincinnati. Because Cincinnati is awesome. Cincinnati's going to keep winning games. They're going to keep climbing because I'm glad they figured it out, because I was almost ready to say like the season's over, but
I think I did say that.
I think both of us might have like right before they started doing this. We both
or at least we recommended that they just shut Burrow down.
Yes, I think we both came to the conclusion that if somehow he got healthy immediately.
I don't know how he did that.
Fucking superhuman
On the calf, like that's not something you should just be able to play on and get healthy from.
Ridiculous, especially after
Tiger's blood.
He tweaked it and then somehow got healthy the next week.
While playing on it, he's him, dude. That's why he's winning this division. He's him.
He's not winning.
He's him.
Number 6, I also have Buffalo, and number 7, I've got Houston, and for similar reasons. Like Houston, it's just, how often does a quarterback that's this good miss the playoffs? And don't tell me Justin Herbert. I know you're not going to, but don't tell me Justin Herbert a couple of years ago, because you know how I feel about Justin Herbert.
We've let our feelings be known, and the rest of the world is starting to come around to it.
By the way, I don't know if you saw that Keenan Allen catch from last night. Will Levis made that throw on third. That exact throw, except with more pressure in his face and 2 less feet on the ground. That was literally the Will Levis pass, just not as good. I don't know if you saw the play, but it was like Herbert had pressure in his face, but he wasn't 2 cleats off the ground, jump ball, throw the ball on the numbers. He had his feet on the ground, threw the ball, way overcooked it, and Keenan Allen had to make a circus catch. I just watched Will Levis make a significantly higher degree of difficulty pass on the numbers in the same spot, and you're telling me Herbert can't do that in year 3, or year 4? What are we in now? Year 4? Is it 2020?
I'm gonna quote Nick Wright.
Yeah.
Herbert came in the league an A- quarterback. Couple years later, he is still
an A-
quarterback.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Nick Wright. Shout out to Nick Wright.
Sorry, this is
a pro Nick Wright podcast.
Yeah. But it's again, I don't see a Brandon Staley coach team somehow maintaining like good performances and sneaking into the playoffs. I think Houston is a better coach team. I love DeMeco Ryans. I love Bobby Slowick. Like, this is a team that I trust. I trust this coaching staff already more than this is a top 10 coaching staff in the NFL. If I'm being quite honest with you, because the roster is not all there yet. They need. They need pieces still. It's not perfect, but they've got they got a coaching staff that can make up for it. And they've got individual players on this team that can make up for it, and CJ Stroud's one of them, of course.
I like how we said we both agreed the AFC could kind of shake out anyway,
And we
and then we
both
still
kind of
both
have
had
it
the
shaking
same
out the
7.
same way. We have well because you and I have a similar thought process on how it's going to go, as far
Yeah,
as like what's more sustainable, what Houston's doing or what Cleveland and Pittsburgh are doing. I
yeah.
Houston, the way Houston wins games is more sustainable. I know they don't have as many wins right now, but the way that they do it, I believe, is more sustainable, and I think it's going
Mm-hmm.
to prove that way by the end of the year.
Agreed.
But would you like to move on to the NFC, sir? Give us your
Yeah, do
NFC
you want to go
prediction.
first on this one, or do you want me to just go first
We'll
again?
snake order, I guess. Fuck it.
All right.
The number one seed, I I have Philadelphia, and I don't feel super comfortable in it because I know, of course, Detroit could always sneak in there.
It,
But
Philly's just weird because it's like you don't love their wins, but they keep
they just
winning.
keep
So
winning.
it's
So
just
it's like
it's just a weird thing to predict
they
based off
haven't
of.
won many games convincingly this year. They've had two nail biters with Washington now, which granted it's divisional. I will never hold a team. I don't care how good you are and how bad your opponent is. If it's a divisional game, like I'm never gonna hold it against you for winning a nail biter if you're the better team because well you got the win. That's all that really matters in the end, and it's a divisional opponent. You took care of business. So I've got Philadelphia number one because they do keep winning, and I think again the coaching as the year has gone on has gotten better. What you're getting
Which
out
we
of
predict. I think we both
yeah,
kind of thought that would happen.
replacing two coordinators
But
that's never going
I
to be an
thought it would.
easy
I
step.
thought it would result in more losses than it
Yeah,
has.
it's only resulted in one, and that one loss came to the Jets of all teams,
So
missing
random.
their three best corners. However,
NFL baby.
however that happens. Number two, I've got Detroit because they have a cupcake schedule, and that's generous. It's
We'll talk
disastrously
about it.
easy. Um, Number three, San Francisco. I feel like is I don't feel too comfortable with this one because Seattle is not very far off, but
They're winning right now.
yeah, I've got. I do think San Francisco ultimately I'm okay with them having kind of a mid-season slump because I don't see them finishing at looking like this. I think they round out into the quarterback play is going to get better. Whether it's Brock Purdy, whether it's Sam Darnold, it's going to be better like a month from now than it is right this second. I firmly believe that. Either
I
Brock
guess I
Purdy,
feel less confident about that than you do.
either Purdy gets his shit together, or Sam Darnold takes the job and runs with it. But one way or another, this quarterback play is not going to continue the way that it has. Maybe after a week of farming in Iowa, Brock Purdy will kind of get back to base and calm down a little bit.
We'll see.
Number four, I don't care. To be honest with you, I really don't. But it's New Orleans. But I don't give a fuck, man. I don't care
Yeah.
about the NFC South football. Panthers worst team in the league. They're obviously not winning it at this point. I no longer feel as good about them, rounding out into form late in the season like I did before the season started. I knew they would have a rough start, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. Um, Atlanta, I don't care. Like Arthur Smith, I feel like should be fired here in the near future.
God,
I'm just being
please, I
honest,
have Bijan, dude. Come on, in fantasy, I'm trying to win.
I've never seen a more gross misuse of personnel in my life.
I just keep seeing the tweets of why the fuck did they draft Bijan to not use
I
him?
agree with you because especially when you have this is a little overblown, but Tyler Algier had 1,000 yards last year and he didn't start early in the year. He was like a late bloomer as the season went on and got more involved, and he had like a little over 1,000 yards as a rookie. And then you draft. Now I love Bijan Robinson. I think he is a freak of nature. I think the numbers don't necessarily show it right now, but he is like a top 5 back in the league. And really, like a month ago, we were saying arguably number 2 in the NFL. And
Yeah.
behind CMC.
In terms of talent and like
I
per
think when I look
per
at him,
play, per touch.
when I look at him run, I do kind of feel like he is number 2 behind CMC, and I think it would be more known that way if he would just get the fucking ball.
It's
And
so weird how Gibbs, like they talked with the Lions, was like, why draft this guy? You barely use him. They're still using Gibbs more. Even when Montgomery was healthy,
At
they were
least-
still using Gibbs
At
more than
least
the
as
fucking
as
Falcons were.
of late, they finally started getting Gibbs involved.
Well,
And
Montgomery was out, so
last week though, when Gibbs ran wild and it looked
oh,
like it was
that
awesome.
that hit so hard for me, dude. Oh my god, it was so good to
for
see.
Detroit, but I hope we just see more of that. Just it's just good football. Like I've always liked David Montgomery. great contact balance, like hard to tackle. Just a good tough runner. Like I like David Montgomery a lot. Um, but Gibbs gives you something Montgomery doesn't. He gives you that burst. He gives you long speed. He gives you the big playability. Like Montgomery's a consistent down to down back. Montgomery's good, but Gibbs, adds a different element to your offense that Montgomery can't give you. And I think
Yeah.
as a tandem, they would work really well if they started using them more as a tandem and less as let's just ride Montgomery because he's consistent. Um,
I think after the performance Gibbs
you
had,
have to. You
they got
have to.
and they will.
It is just gross mismanagement of talent.
There's a 30-point fantasy performance. So nice to hit.
But yeah, I do have. Yeah, I'll just real quick. Like New Orleans, the secondary is one of the best in the league. Defensively, in general, they're really good. Offense, it's not great, but I mean, there's enough there. What Kamara's been generating since coming back from suspension, I think Derek Carr is fine. He's not quite been as good as I wanted. I figured he would be, but Rashid Shaheed is giving you like one of the better deep threats in the league. Chris Olave is Chris Olave, and Michael Thomas still has something in the tank, even if it's not, prime Michael Thomas. It's good football, and the fifth seed it is Dallas still pretty well, I don't want to say pretty convincingly because there's a world where Seattle finishes ahead of them.
Yeah, which they are right now.
Yeah, by a tiebreaker. I'm not like uber worried about it. Seattle's defense has been phenomenal this year.
So I'm assuming Seattle's your sixth then.
We'll get there. But Dallas, I think just the talent wise, it's too much to not round into shape a little bit. Like I think this is a team that offensively their ceiling is certainly higher than Seattle's, it feels weird to say because obviously Seattle's ceiling on offense is pretty high, but I think Geno Smith is more of the second half of last year Geno Smith than he is that holy shit this is what Geno Smith is now. Like that we saw in the first half where he was just making those insane throws every single week. Like and you still get that from Geno, and really it's impressive that Geno has had this good of a turnaround. I guess it's as much of a Seahawks segment as Cowboy. Seahawks are my 6.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota is my 7, just as they are right now.
They were so close.
I have a hard time with this, mind you. Like it's not an easy decision.
They have an easier schedule going forward as well. That's another.
Well, they still have to play, the Packers and the Bears. It's not like those teams are really threatening anybody right now.
I guess I'll wait.
But that's where I'm at. I mean, it's a much more boring conference, I think, in terms of prediction because it is the teams that are in there right now. In fact, I have the exact same standings except Dallas and Seattle flipped. But everything else I have exactly the same as it is currently. I don't see much difference in the NFC going forward.
So for me, I have the same 1 seed this go round as I did last time.
Okay.
So I've been on this, and when you mentioned their cupcake schedule, Detroit at 1. So
I don't hate that at all.
When Detroit gets the 1 seed, I'll just you've heard it here first.
You were on that early. You were on that at the first month of the season. I do remember.
Yeah. So I've got them at the 1, and then I do have the Eagles at the 2.
Yes.
It's a game difference between the two of them. I think Detroit beats up on their division more than the. Well, it really actually just comes down to I have Detroit kind of sweeping their division. I've got the Eagles splitting with the Cowboys sweeping the rest.
Yeah.
So that's the 1 game difference, is that the Eagles have Cowboys in their division and the Lions have the Vikings.
Maybe.
So that's what the difference is. And then the 3 seed I have Seattle. I think they hold on to this lead they have against the Niners right now, and I think the three game losing streak is more than just a slump in my opinion. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I think when great teams have slumps, it's not just losses. I think sometimes slumps can also just include like bad wins. Mm-hmm. But the Niners have just lost 3 straight, which is huge. But I got Seattle at the 3 seed. I have the Saints at the 4 seed as well. And then 5th seed, I have the Cowboys. 6th seed, I have the Niners.
Okay, that's fine.
And then the 7th seed, so I pick every game. And this, I guess I just noticed something that I guess I'll be able to talk about during playoffs. But the 7th seed, I actually have the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't despise that. Honestly,
And yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
and then it's like Falcons and Vikings were just out. But the 7th seed, I think no matter what in the NFC is just gonna not be
getting steamrolled by Detroit or Philadelphia, whoever it is. Like it doesn't matter.
Not gonna be a good
The
team.
line on that game is gonna be like 13.5.
It's gonna be
bad.
Yeah.
We've already seen Philadelphia steamroll Tampa Bay. So if what you have playing out is what plays out, I don't.
Which is what I was gonna bring about it being funny because Jalen Hurts, I think his first playoff game with the Eagles was against the Bucks,
and they got kind of rolled in that one. Now the scoreboard looked a little closer, but like the Eagles' offense was inept in that game. I watched it.
Yeah,
it was disgusting.
So it's going to be a funny change of roles here.
Yeah, changing of the guard. You've got a barely squeaking by Buccaneers team versus the powerhouse Eagles, where it was a complete opposite just 2 years ago.
Yeah. But I think it's time we get into the playoff predictions themselves.
It would appear that way.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to just both say our wild card team, like our wild card games?
I want you to go your whole AFC.
Whole bracket?
Just do your whole AFC bracket, and then I'll do my whole AFC bracket.
Okay, whole AFC bracket.
Whole AFC bracket.
So the matchups wild card weekend for me are the 5th seeded Ravens going up against the 4th seeded Jags. The 6th seeded Bills going up against the 3 seeded Dolphins.
Yeah.
The 7th seeded Texans going up against the 2 seeded Bengals. I got 2 upsets in terms of seeding this go round. Obviously, I have the Bengals holding on and winning against the Texans.
I would hope so.
But I do have the Baltimore Ravens beating the Jaguars in Jacksonville.
That might not even be an upset if that was,
no,
there was a line on that.
5-4s are usually like that.
Baltimore would probably be favored like 1.5 on the road.
Yeah,
it would still be.
That's why I said. That's why I added the in terms of seeding.
Yeah, I'm just saying like in terms of Vegas odds. I don't even think that would be. An
and
upset.
Then when it comes to playoffs, I still like Josh Allen in the playoffs. I think he has individually performed very well. So I had the 6th seeded Bills beating, and honestly, my guess is that this would be a bigger win in terms of point differential than Jacksonville, Baltimore. I got the Bills beating the Dolphins. I think it would be pretty convincingly. I think we would see monster Josh Allen in that game.
Okay, I think that's fair.
And then the Texans losing against the Bengals, like great run, CJ Stroud, but
yeah, I don't see like as a 7 seed, like whether the 2 seed is Kansas City or Baltimore or in some fantasy land, Cincinnati.
It's gotta be this land, dude. It's gonna be this fucking land.
If it is, I will give you a blowjob on stream.
That you're gonna have to. We have to set up a Patreon for that.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna have to. We'll figure it out.
Paywall the fuck out of that one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. We'll split the profits though.
But then this.
Yeah, Houston probably won't beat any of those teams in the playoffs now.
The divisional round would look very. These would be very familiar games that we've seen. They're rematches of some last year playoff games. We'd have the Ravens against the Bengals.
Yeah,
and then we have
masterclass last year.
And then we have the classic Bills versus Chiefs. 5th seeded Ravens going up against the 2 seeded Bengals, and then the 6 seeded Bills going up against the 1 seed Kansas City.
Well, that was not a rematch from last year. It's a rematch from 2 years ago because last year the Bills.
Did I say last year? I thought I just said.
Oh, I don't know. I just know that the Bills got steamrolled by Cincinnati.
Yeah. I've got the higher seeds taking care of business. I got the 2 seeded Bengals beating the Ravens.
Yeah.
We know the stat against Lamar against NFC teams, but this is because the reason he's so good against the NFC teams is because they just don't know Lamar and aren't used to something like him. The Bengals will be used to something like Lamar. He'll still be great. I still think he'll have a good game himself, but I think I trust the weapons of the Bengals more. Yeah. And the defense, the Ravens defense has been playing great this year, but I've consistently seen the Bengals defense step up in the playoffs. So I'm gonna have them run it back.
All right.
And then I've got the Chiefs beating the Bills. Just a tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm. And how's your? Let me guess. Can I guess your AFC Championship?
You can take a little guess.
Would the Cincinnati Bengals be winning a game in Burrowhead by any chance?
They would. Because for starters, the offense for the Chiefs, even though they played good last time, I'm still not 100% sold on them. I'm sold on them enough to make the AFC Championship game.
That
And they could win this game.
Been driving that team forward this year.
And
State's defense is awesome.
There's a team that does know how to play Mahomes. There's a team that does know how to beat him in the playoffs.
Yes.
Or beat him, period. There's only been 2 quarterbacks to beat Mahomes in the playoffs, I think. It's been Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. I've got Joe Burrow doing it once again, beating Mahomes.
Yeah, it has been Tom Brady and Joe Burrow.
To go to the Super Bowl. So that's my AFC side.
Awesome. I mean, that's good stuff. I respect it. I have
EOS.
I've got the number 2 seeded Kansas City Chiefs versus the number 7 seeded Houston Texans, the 3 seed Jacksonville versus 6 seed Buffalo, and number 4 seed Miami versus 5 seed Cincinnati. I've got Cincinnati beating Miami.
That's correct.
I mean, that's like I said, Miami. What puts them as the worst division winner for me by the end of the year is because they just haven't shown that they can beat anybody who actually is worth their salt. They have not done this against a good team, and that doesn't make 70 points any less impressive. But can you score 35 on somebody who's really good? So I've got Cincinnati beating Miami. I think I've got Jacksonville holding fast against Buffalo, to be honest with you.
EOS!
Not necessarily.
Dogs are barking.
I hear you.
That's why
I get it. Not necessarily the easiest choice in the world, but cause like you said, I do like Josh Allen in the playoffs, but I just like Jacksonville's roster much better. And honestly, at this point, Jacksonville's coaching staff even than what Buffalo's got going on. I think I've maybe fallen out of favor a bit with like Leslie Frazier and even Sean McDermott, but I've got, of course, Kansas City taking care of business against Houston. Houston even making the playoffs this year alone is that's impressive. That is awesome. This is a phenomenal start to what was supposed to be maybe more of a 2 or 3 year plan, and in year 1 you're squeaking into the hi baby. I have a cat up here. So for Houston, I would tell you right now, it does not matter what record they finish with. Houston is going to enter next year with more hype than anybody else. I don't care.
For sure.
Unless Chicago or whatever gets Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe, but I mean I think people might even have hype fatigue with Chicago next year just because they had so much this year. Houston, if they even put together just a half decent offseason, people are gonna go nuts for this team.
Yeah.
So, baby, what are you doing? Are you loading up to jump? You gonna jump? Hi, my love. So Houston, I mean, there's no shame in losing round 1 of the playoffs if you're Houston. If they got a win against whoever the 2 seed ends up being, I mean, you're selling out every game next year, right? But Houston, there's no shame in this whatsoever. Losing round 1, just being there to begin with is impressive. So, Houston take care of business during the season, more so than expected. Get bounced from one of the playoffs, but you're going to be just fine coming in next year. You're going to have a lot of hype. You're going to have a lot of hope internally. It's going to be a fun off season if you're a Texans fan, regardless. So I've got highest remaining seeds. I had Cincinnati winning. I guess that's the only wild card I had. It would be Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and hang on, no, I lied. It would be Baltimore and Cincinnati, and then Kansas City and Jacksonville. And I would have Kansas City beating Jacksonville again, and I would have Baltimore beating Cincinnati.
Boo!
No, not boo. They're the best team in the NFL. I don't care.
Well, we disagree. Well, I think they are right now. But.
Yes. And then it would be Baltimore versus Kansas City, and I'm sorry, again, these defenses are comparable. Baltimore's defense has been slightly better, and
no, I would take Baltimore.
Baltimore's got the MVP, in my opinion, And Baltimore's got, honestly, is it crazy to say Baltimore's got a better wide receiver room when they can all
No.
catch? Because Kelsey has the edge over Andrews, but it's not by a ton.
Dude, Andy Reid would
And
suck toes to get Zay Flowers into his
oh
room,
my
right?
god,
His wide
imagine
receiver
Zay
room.
Flowers on the Chiefs offense, dude. That would
Yeah.
be absurd. That would be ridiculous. But yeah, I've got Baltimore heading to the Super Bowl, man. I feel great about this Ravens team. Um,
Yeah, I feel good
I
about him.
feel real great about them when they're on their best, and I feel like as the season goes on, like they've gotten more consistent. Like in a game, like in a like drive to drive basis, like within games has been their problem. Like maintaining good performances throughout a game, they've done it. Especially when they're really called upon. Like, hey, you have to show up against the Detroit Lions this week, and they beat the brakes off of them. Like, that's the kind of statement win the Ravens really needed, and it just gets better and better for them. I think,
Look,
and it's going to.
when because we both have this happening. When Baltimore and Cincy plays each other in the playoffs, I'm gonna be a disgusting human being.
The end.
I'm gonna be sitting there like I don't trust Lamar throwing consistently. And I'm like, you know what? Just make him a pocket passer. I'm gonna be wearing a MAGA hat watching the fucking game.
Big day for racist people if the Ravens lose to the Bengals.
Oh, the White King, Joe Burrow.
My God, yeah. That's what a real quarterback looks like.
Now, see, when he scrambles out the pocket, now he's looking to throw like a quarterback should.
But that Lamar Jackson
But see,
fella.
when whatever the fuck you want to call him, Action Jackson, he's out of the playoffs. That's all that I know. When you see him scramble out of the pocket, what's he doing? Oh, he's running. Oh, he's doing 15 yards. Getting hit. He's getting hit. Quarterbacks can't take those hits. I was about to say something crazy, but let's just move on.
You won't be wearing the Burrow jersey during next week's pod. You'd be wearing the white hooded robes.
Oh, dude.
Pod. But anyways, yeah. You're exactly right. There's gonna be plenty of those people though. Especially if Lamar Jackson has a bad playoff game and they lose,
actually,
there's gonna be a ton of people. I told you he can't
actually,
get
you know what's
done because he's just a filthy, stinking running quarterback.
I made the MAGA hat joke, but I think they because he had that one interaction with Trump.
Trump is what he tweeted.
Yeah, so I think they're actually like
kind of like.
I don't know. You know what? I don't trust all quarterbacks that run like he does, but I like that
Lamar
one.
Jackson filler. Remember when there was a Baltimore radio announcer who was like, he's having so much success scrambling because his dark skin hides the ball on the fake handoffs. He got fired like the next day.
Oh my god, dude. That is the Bill Burr bit about quick twitch fibers. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but Bill Burr had an exact bit about when white commentators try to explain why black athletes do so well and they get fired. He had that exact bit about what you just said.
It's the extra muscle in the thigh or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit.
Their calves are located a little higher than ours.
They got more spring in theirs. You know what I mean? Like instead of just saying, "Oh wow, he's impressive," it's, actually, the ball is hidden because his skin is dark, so it's easier for him to fake the handoff on the read option. It's like you just didn't have to say that. Like there's other ways to analyze the game than just making shit up on the spot. But anyways, if you'd like to,
NFC time.
We'll go ahead and do you first. Go ahead, man. What do you got?
Oh, right. So, okay, if it'll let me go back.
Hi, baby.
There we go.
I love you.
Wild card round here.
Yeah.
Well, I pretty much already said this one. I have the 2-seeded Eagles beating the 7-seeded Bucks.
It won't even be close.
Yeah.
I don't think.
And then obviously I have the 5-seeded Dallas Cowboys beating the 4-seeded New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
But I do have the 6-seeded Niners beating the 3-seeded Seahawks. Like I said, I think that Seattle's able to hold their lead in the division for the rest of the regular season, but I think come playoff time, that Niners team is experienced when it comes to playing in the playoffs. I think that Nick Bosa playing against a black quarterback, I think he has a stellar performance, and I think that the Niners pull out a win.
There is a legitimate. thing to be said there about Nick Bosa versus a black quarterback in the playoffs. Like,
Dude, someone
gotta
I
have it.
know those stats have to be out there, but I just gotta see them.
I don't know that I've ever seen somebody put them together, but surely there has to be like some
Gotta
collection
be,
of
because it's been a
stats.
narrative. It's been a joke for a while. Someone has to have the stats together.
Yeah, but
I bet somebody looked them up and it just wasn't actually as
wasn't
funny
actually
as
that
we thought it would
impressive,
be.
and it wasn't much of a
You're like,
difference. He
oh,
was like,
you're like, fuck. I
bullshit.
guess he's just good, anyways.
Yeah, yeah. But all right. What do we got next? What we got next?
Oh yeah, right. I forgot we're doing the whole thing. So divisional round. So my divisional round would be, um, it's the 2 seed Eagles against the 5 seeded Cowboys,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 1 seeded Lions against the 6 seeded Niners. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm riding Detroit. I'm high on Detroit. I got
Okay.
Detroit beating the Niners.
Okay.
Why? I don't know, dude. I'm feeling the team. I don't know. I'm feeling the team. I know that they had an easy schedule to get to this 1 seed, but a week of rest. Um, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy. I would take Jared Goff right now pretty
Yeah.
handily. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I think Kyle Shanahan would take Jared Goff right now.
oh, he would in a heartbeat. Swap the quarterbacks. I'd
Yeah.
swap my opinion, but
Yeah.
Jared Goff is swaying me to pick a playoff game. That's interesting. Now there was a time where that would have been a funny statement, but then I got the 2 seeded Eagles against the 5 seeded Cowboys, and I can't pick the Cowboys.
You just can't do it. In good
I
faith.
can't. I'm a fan of them, but I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
God, I hate them so. And what's gonna happen is like we'll somehow get into the game. It's gonna be fourth quarter. We'll somehow have made it close. We're gonna be driving, and Mike McCarthy or Dak Prescott is gonna do something fucking dumb as hell.
Yeah.
And we're gonna lose the game.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's what's gonna happen. And I'm gonna be so pissed when I get the notification that Jerry Jones believes in Mike McCarthy still after the game.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna punch a fucking wall. But yeah. So then we
I
have
think that's
the
understandable.
an NFC Championship game hosted in Detroit
Fuck yeah.
as the Detroit Lions host the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know what? The Eagles have been playing with their food a little too much. A lion just eats, and a lion is finna eat championship weekend, beat the Eagles, and make the Super Bowl.
This would be their first Super Bowl appearance, wouldn't it?
Yes, there's 4 teams who have never gone. It's them, it's the Browns, it's the Jags, and it's the
Houston,
Texans.
Yeah. Houston's never even made the conference championship.
Probably
Never
not.
even won a
But
division
one of those
championship.
teams is not like the other, because I think the Browns. I'm trying to think how they count the Browns
They never made a Super
when
Bowl.
they look historically.
They never made a Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl because almost every team has a championship.
Yeah.
But there's what do you call it in terms of no Super Bowl? Yeah, the Browns have never gone. The Lions have never gone.
Yeah.
The Texans, of course, have never gone because they've never even.
And I think the Lions
contention for one.
Are they the oldest of those 4 teams, or are the Browns older?
The Lions are technically older. I don't know like the original Cleveland Browns. If you
That's what I was asking about, like how they count
excuse me,
these
but,
things.
But in terms of like
Continuous
sources,
team it's the Lions.
But yeah, the Detroit, they're older than this new incarnation of the Browns. They're certainly older than Houston. And
Yeah, Houston.
They're in Jacksonville.
Yeah, by a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would be able to shake that off, and they make the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
Want to do your NFC side?
Let's fucking do it. So I've got number 2 Detroit versus number 7 Minnesota. I'm gonna go to my games as I do this. Number 2 versus number 7 Minnesota. Detroit's gonna beat the brakes off of them, I think.
Yeah.
I like Minnesota, but there's Josh Dobbs kind of tricks you in that first week with a new team. You're like, holy shit, this guy is exciting. He's awesome. It does not last. It did not last in Arizona. He had quite a few bad games with the Cardinals. He was awesome in this week, especially not knowing anybody's name, not knowing the offense, not knowing a damn thing, really. This is just absurd. Dobbs.
The receivers he's going to have, though, is going to be a lot better than he had with the Cardinals.
Definitely, but I don't know. He did this with Tennessee too, where he had some really nice like individual plays where, and I will say like I think in terms of like most dog per capita, Dobbs leads the league. of all players, regardless of position. I don't really know how to quantify this, but just in terms of like, you just watch a play and you're like, that's Josh motherfucking Dobbs, right? Speaking of dogs, you know what I mean? Like they know it. They know dog
Yeah.
recognize dog. You know, former Vol, of course, I do love him for that reason alone. I didn't really watch him because I wasn't really big into Tennessee Volunteers football at the time, but always good to love my guys that went to Tennessee. But he does trick you with this sort of thing because it does, it's something. He looks great to start, but it's not going to last. I have a hard time believing it's going to last. Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. And in fact, I kind of hope I am because Josh Dobbs is exciting football if nothing else. So I hope he balls out. I just don't see it happening. I see him playing well enough to get them to keep their playoff spot, but I don't see him playing well enough to win a playoff game, especially not against the Detroit Lions. Number 3 is San Francisco versus number 6 Seattle. This comes down to quarterback play in terms of like if Seattle can pull the upset. And like I said, I think San Francisco, some way or another, does round out into having decent quarterback play by this point in the season. I've got San Francisco winning this game. And I've got Dallas beating New Orleans, of course, the 5th seed Cowboys beating the 4th seed New Orleans. I think this could be a pretty low scoring game. I think New Orleans defense could certainly give them problems. I just don't see New Orleans scoring against this Cowboys defense at all. And I could see Dallas, getting like CeeDee Lamb's gonna have like a big play or whatever. He'll catch a touchdown some point in this game, and that's gonna be the tipping point.
I don't think it needs a tipping point. It'll just be like how it was against last year when we played the Bucks,
I guess, yeah.
where we just beat the shit out of them and then shit the bed the next week.
And then the following week, it is Cowboys versus Eagles. Once again, the 5th seeded Cowboys versus the number 1 seeded Eagles. And the number 2 Detroit Lions versus the number 3 San Francisco 49ers. And I feel the same way about this round as you did. I've got Philadelphia beating Dallas, and I've got Detroit beating San Francisco. And you know what? I've got the Detroit Lions on the road, walking into Lincoln Financial Field, whipping their cock out, and shoving it down the Eagles' throat, a la Deshaun Watson.
Well,
sorry.
I didn't read that in the documents.
I've got. Well, he did do that, and one person did accuse him of that. That specific thing. One person did accuse him of that. I don't know if it was just one. There might have been more than one, but I know at least one person.
You see the quote when Deshaun couldn't play, so it was like, "This is the most guilt I've ever felt."
Yeah, it's
not being able to be out there.
The most ever.
That's the most.
Are you sure,
buddy?
Yeah, but I've got the Detroit Lions walking in to this John and getting that W. And so now you tell me.
So we both have the same NFC representative.
You tell me with your Bengals versus Lions Super Bowl, how's that going for you? I think I know where it's going, but I'm gonna let you tell me.
It's funny. So we both have the Detroit Lions playing an AFC North team.
Well, you and I both said before the season the AFC North is like the best division in the league. Pretty handy.
We did.
Yes.
And it wasn't for a second. Is it?
All 4 teams are in the playoffs right now. It's not even arguable. It's the best. It's the best division in the NFL.
It's just 2 of those teams have terrible vibes, but they're still winning. It's so tough.
Though. It's the Steelers have been outgained every single week, which is another reason why I don't have them make the playoffs. Like that has to run out eventually.
Yeah,
you can't be.
But obviously, we got Lions, Bengals, Super Bowl.
That's a big cat Super Bowl.
It is big pussy energy. Girl Boss Super Bowl. Who is Girl Boss's favorite quarterback in the NFL?
It's Joe Burrow.
It's Joe Burrow. Super Bowl MVP.
Neither of those teams
Joe Burrow yet. Winning a Super Bowl.
That'd be a
bringing a Super
franchise.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
bringing a Super Bowl to Cincinnati. I don't really have much to say. I mean, I picked them to win the Super Bowl when we did when we did like the preseason predictions. Yeah. I don't think I had them winning in the quarterly.
You definitely did not, because they were 1-3. You didn't have them in the playoffs, I don't think, because
Probably
that
not.
was right after we said they need to shut Burrow down for the season. So,
But
for
I'm
until he's
back
healthy
on
or
it. I'm
whatever.
back on the train fully.
Yep.
Just hop back into the front of the cart, dude. I'm right there next to Chase.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the Bengals winning the Super Bowl.
Fuck yeah. I know.
I'm assuming we both have AFC North teams winning the Super Bowl this year.
They were my preseason pick, and I still feel great about them now.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly, if I'm being 100%, like, I had great vibes on the Ravens before the season started, and I did not go as high on them as I wanted to when we did our initial prediction.
Well, you had the Steelers winning the division.
I know, because I thought I was galaxy brained, like, oh, this is gonna work. This is gonna be good, clean offense and an elite defense. And I don't know. I thought that they drafted.
You thought it was like the 80s. You thought it was the 80s.
I can't even remember why I thought they were gonna be that high. But
that's gonna be. I can't remember what mine is off the top of my head, but that's gonna be your. What the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what mine is.
For sure. I think yours was just completely whiffing on the Dolphins.
You're right.
Yeah.
I did have the. I mean, I feel less.
Yeah, they're a little fraudulent, but like.
Yeah, that is mine. You're right.
I do. What do you call it? I know for sure going into the year, I'm like, this is the best wide receiver core Lamar Jackson's ever had. Like I've always liked Mike McDonald. I liked him at Michigan. I like him in Baltimore. I liked him last year. I feel good about him this year. Obviously, he's my assistant coach of the year, and I think he's one of the best head coach candidates this night. Certainly the best defensive head coach candidate of this cycle. And I've always been a huge on Lamar. Like before this season, I said he was my fourth highest ranked quarterback. Like it was Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar. I had Lamar right there. And honestly, at this point, Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Allen. If I'm being totally honest with myself, I have Lamar third in the league, and I'm happy. I like this. I know I had them making the playoffs initially because of of course I did, but I'm really like I know I should hate the Ravens being a Titans fan. I know it's a bitter grudge match every time they play each other, but I just can't help but fall in love with this team, and I don't think it's not going to be the bloodbath that it was a couple weeks ago when the Ravens played the Lions, but the Ravens are still going to win the rematch, make no mistake about it. I've got the Baltimore Ravens beating the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl this year. In Vegas.
I don't think there'd be a happier Super Bowl loser than Lions fans. Fuck, we made it! Holy shit!
They never complain about anything, and I love the energy that fan base gives off. Because one, you like living in fucking Detroit, you have plenty of things to complain about. The Lions should very well be one of them, but they don't. They don't complain. They're just cool with it. And now they deserve this year, and honestly, they deserve a Super Bowl. Like I would be, cheering right on with them if they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they deserve it. But honestly, I have a couple friends who are Ravens fans. Who I hear them complain every week, and I'm thinking like, man, you're 7-2. You've got the MVP of the league. You're arguably the best team
as of right now. Yeah.
What the fuck are you complaining about? And they were winning by so much that fucking Tyler Huntley came into the game.
Or to Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, and they're complaining. It's like this is fucking weird. Try being a Titans fan right now, being the third worst team in the conference. Whatever. We are that bad. We're tied with Denver for record, and then the only team below us is.
God, imagine being a Panthers fan.
Oh, brother, I know a few of those too. They're not having the best time right now.
I knew one. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Some of them hate Bryce Young.
He was not a good person.
Some of them do not like Bryce Young very much.
Shit, if I saw CJ Stroud balling out, I'd be like.
I get it, like especially knowing that if CJ Stroud had been there at pick number 3, I have a hard time believing the Titans wouldn't have traded up. Because Mike Vrabel wanted his Ohio State alum at quarterback, and I get it. Especially if you were in position to take him and you took somebody else, and you see him having one of the best, arguably the best rookie season the quarterback's ever had. I understand why that would upset you, but I still think don't not be excited for Bryce Young just because C.J. Stroud is better right now. And I guess it's easier said than done. But yeah, I'm
gonna run and use the bathroom.
I'm gonna keep.
When I come back, do you want to swap to the top 3?
Yeah, let's do it. It gives me more time to think about my letters of the alphabet.
Okay, I'll think while I piss.
All right, man. Have a good piss. God, he's so fucking sexy. I think things I would do to that man. Bowie, hi. Hi, my love. Come here. Come here. You want to say hi to the people? You say hi to the people? Come here, my love. Come here, baby. You okay? I love my cat so much, dude. He's a good little cat. He's a bit of a little shit though. Like this morning, so when I go to work, I will like wear the same pair of pants twice, right? Like I'll change my shirt, every day. I'll change my sock, obviously change underwear, but like sometimes I'll wear I'll wear the same pair of pants 2 days in a row. So I go to put on the gray sweatpants I wore to work yesterday, and they're wet, and it's because this little shit peed on them, and which was not nice. And it'd be one thing if I left them out on the floor, because if you leave clothes out on the floor, you're kind of asking for it. Because cats love piles of clothes. They love pissing on piles of clothes. But Bowie climbed into my laundry basket just so he could pee on my fucking clothes. Which is not the first time he's done this, but he hasn't done it in like months. So I thought we had gotten past this. I thought that was just, something he did when he was a baby. No, it's something he just did recently. God damn. Damn, that ass fat. Lord, we gotta. Whew. We need a Patreon for that. You can't be showing that shit on the main channel, man. We gotta.
You gotta tease it first.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. There's now a cat in my lap. As soon as you left, he jumped on my chair. So he's on my
perfect.
lap now. Oh, I didn't think about my letters at all. So that's wonderful. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of thinking while you give yours. Or at least give your first one.
I got one thing I got to look up because I used to know this, and I got to check this out again because this would be one of the answers.
Okay. Excuse me. Let me stare at my keyboard for a minute and ponder.
I got 2 out of 3 already, but this will be the third one when I find the answer to this. Got it. Okay.
I think I got it.
Okay. Top 3 of the week.
Letters
we're doing
of the alphabet.
Yes. Are we going 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1?
3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. You know the drill.
You wanted me to go first?
Yes, sir. Run it up. Let's do it.
All right. I had to look this up because I forgot this. But my third favorite letter. Huh?
You've got lore?
There's a little factoid here.
All right. Hell yeah.
There's one letter in the alphabet to never be silent. Do you know what letter that is? I forgot what letter it was, so I had to look it up.
I'm going to say... Look through all of them real quick. Is it V?
It is!
Hey!
And that is my third favorite letter, V. Can't silent the letter V. V for victory.
Real V's moving loudness.
Yeah, real V's let their movements be known and heard. V's are never silent. V is my third favorite letter.
Awesome. That goes hard. That goes hard.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think it's pretty cool.
Jakob.
Number 3. I'm gonna go with the letter L.
Boo!
L is a letter I've grown quite accustomed to seeing, being a Titans fan, but that's not what this is about. L just looks sharp. You know what I mean? It's got a nice, crisp 90-degree angle. Of course, I'm referring to the capital L. The lowercase L, too, though. It's almost like a little baby L. It's a little stylish. It's got a little...
the lowercase L is too much like a different letter.
It's got less twang to it, sure. But, I mean, it's... You know what I mean? With, like... L, I don't know, man. It just looks clean. Like... I'm thinking, like, LexCorp. You know what I mean? Lex Luthor. You know? Also, L has a lot of, like, in terms of alliteration, double L's are, like, my favorites. You know what I mean? You got, like I said, Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? You've got Lindsay Lohan.
Ooh.
You got some bangers. You got some bangers with this one.
Oh, no?
I like L. I'm just rock out with L. Rock out with my cock out. I think L is a good letter. It's my favorite.
All right.
Number 2 for you, sir. Where we at?
My number 2 is the letter P.
All right, that's what my cat did on my clothes this morning. I was just telling the folks about it.
What's more fun to say? P.
I'm with you.
Pop,
I'm with
pop,
you. Pop,
pop,
pop, pop,
pop,
popcorn.
pussy. It just hits. The letter P hits.
Pepper.
And I literally thought of this reason before you said it. Alliteration for P, I think, hits harder than any others.
God, it goes. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Pretty
Alliteration for
princess. It just when you double up on P's or multiple P's.
Pink pussy.
Pretty pink princess pussy. It's fun. It's probably the best when it comes to it. Yeah. So my second favorite letter is P.
I kind of want to do an honorable mention before I do my number 1 at some point. So if you'd also like to do an honorable mention when you get to, because since you're doing your number 1 first, if you want to do it,
I'm not honoring any fucking letters.
Okay, I'm doing an honorable mention.
All right, but you can go ahead and do your number 2.
Number 2, I've got the letter Q.
I fucking should have known that would be one of the ones you said.
Why is that?
It comes off with like, how interesting is this choice?
Oh, brother. What do you say? I'm pretentious?
Pretentious?
Pretentious? Perchance? Maybe? You're a little bit pretentious?
I maybe have thought of that. I maybe thought that right there in that moment, but I didn't.
I don't pick it because I think it's just it's a very playful looking letter, you know, and it's especially when you do the lowercase q. I don't know about you. I like adding the curl to my lowercase q. Because it is just wacky. You can freestyle with it a little bit by adding that curl if you want to, you know. Like you can.
How else would you do it?
You can just do it like almost like a backwards P. You don't have to add the curl. I like having the curl at the bottom, but you know not everybody writes it that way. But I like freestyling with it a little bit. I like having a little fun. I like
capital. You know what? I do have an honorable mention now.
Okay, but Q is basically, you know, you got an O with a little line through it. And I think that's pretty nifty. Now, you can start the line at the circle. You can have the line bleed in to the circle. You don't even have to circle the circle completely. You can have a little gap next to the line. You can freestyle the fuck out of Q. That's what I love about Q so much. There's so many ways to write Q. Freestyle the fuck out of it. It's interesting. It's very
You playful. Write it the same way every time.
I like having options. Fuck you. All right? I like having options. And that's what Q gives me. Q gives me options, and I appreciate that. Even if I write it the same way every time, somebody else is going to write it differently than me, and that's what matters to me with Q. That's why I like Q. Q is playful. Q is fun. Q is cool. Q makes a good sound. Q-Tip. The abstract poet. Q-Tip, one of my favorite rapper of all time. There is... You know, the sounds you make with Q and U, like quadrant, question. You can have Q and U make a, or you can have sometimes Q makes like a K sound. You know what I mean? You get you get real silly with it. So shout out Q, man. That's my number 2.
All right, and then my honorable mention is the letter S.
S. Okay, that's a banger letter.
Barely
missed my top.
Okay, first of all of mine have been bangers. I don't know why you felt the need to single that one out.
Because I really like the letter S.
But it's simply just because of the cool S that everybody would draw as kids.
Yeah.
And that S is the subject of one of my favorite YouTubers, one of his videos, Let Me Know, where he tried to like find out where that originated from.
Yeah.
And he's like, no fucking idea. It's like a super long video, and he's like talking about all these different theories, and he's like, no idea how everyone across the world were like, let's just do this. But yeah, S is my honorable mention.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's a banger. Ow. Fuck. Am I doing my honorable mention, or are you doing your number 1?
Oh yeah, I thought that's how we were going to do it.
Okay, we'll do that too. Okay, my honorable mention...
Is your cat attacking you?
Yes. Yes, he is. He's still in my lap, and he's biting the shit out of me. Speaking of biting, my honorable mention is the letter B. B might be my favorite alliteration letter, because you've got...
I'm going to warn you right now, don't go too into the letter.
You've got big booty baby Bowie bear right here. And, ow, fuck, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, sorry for... Okay, you Get down.
Well, here, I'm just going to cut you off while you get attacked, because my favorite letter is obviously B.
Yes.
Brayden, Burrow, Bussy, Balls, B.
Yeah.
The best letter.
B.
B.
B goes hard. B goes so fucking hard.
Yeah, so B is obviously my favorite letter.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I had a hard time keeping it out of my top
Bussy.
3. Bussy, yeah, for sure. You know, I don't think if I played Bussy into account, I'd probably swap B and L. To be honest with you, in fact, BBL. That's my top 3. BBL. There we go.
All right, so what's your number 1?
I gotta go with the letter A.
You left your own initial off of this?
J's probably my number 6. To be honest with you, J's top 10 for sure. I love J. Don't get me wrong, but A is an initial of mine as well. And it's the initial I go by in terms of my social media presence. It's Avillion Hours on Instagram. It's Avillion Talks on YouTube. That name is for the fucking brand, Brayden. Okay, it's A, and I just think it's such a cool looking letter. You got the oh, you know what I mean? It's like the letter V. If you turn it over. But also add a little bar in the middle. And you know what? A's got bars. Alright? A goes hard. And the lowercase a is very different from uppercase A, so there's never any confusion. I just think A's great. Man,
I like synergy between the cases.
Alright. Fair enough.
Boo!
Alright. Whatever. Bowie. Also, I forgot to mention for L, L also, Levis. We got Levis.
I think A is probably in the bottom half for me.
I can't get down with that. It's number 1 for a reason. Hi, my love. Hi, my love. All right. What we doing?
Picks?
Picks? Sounds about
probably
right.
what we should have done instead of top. Now that I think about it.
Well, yeah,
in terms of conversation flow.
Keeping the football going and then moving on to everything else. It's fine. We forgot to do picks last week, by the way.
We forgot to do it last week.
Well, actually,
I'll give a quick.
You kind of had to go, but we also did kind of forget it at the same time. So we wouldn't.
But I'll just go ahead and. I think I have the picks. I think I took screenshots of the picks though.
All right.
From what we both picked, and I won.
You did.
I won by 2.
Yes, I do remember. Because I what do you call it? I brought it into within 1. Now I'm down by 3 again.
Yeah. So we were both wrong about Tennessee.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You had Kansas City. I had Miami.
Yes, I was right about that one.
And then we were both right about Cleveland. We were both right about New Orleans. We were both right about Green Bay. We were both right about Atlanta. Or sorry, both wrong about Atlanta. Minnesota won.
Yeah.
And then we were both right about Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then... Oh, sorry. This was for the week we didn't... This must have been for the week we didn't talk about. Now that I think about it.
Last week was the week we didn't talk about.
Because you won.
I didn't win.
Oh, you won this week.
No, I won 2 weeks ago. I won 2 weeks ago. Wait a minute. I'm so fucking confused.
Because week 9 is a week ago. Is like...
Yeah, the week we just
had. Because week 10 is this week.
Yes. Week 9 is the week we just had.
Okay.
I won week 9?
Okay.
I thought I won week 8.
No.
Okay.
No. You have it pulled up?
I won week 8 where it counts because the Titans beat the Falcons.
Okay. So. We'll just get into this. Here, I won week 8. It was 12-10.
Yeah.
And then you won this week. It was 10-9.
Okay. Bowie.
But now let's get into this week. Starting off with a god-awful game Thursday night.
We will be going to bed early. And I say this as somebody who does not have to work Friday this week. I will be going to bed early.
Not watching.
I will be watching my glorious Pookie Bear Bryce Young. I've got the Panthers squeezing one out. And if it's Bears, it does not matter who wins this game because you get the top 2 picks regardless of the outcome of this game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
This is a tough one because I just don't like either team.
The spread is Chicago minus 3.5. So Vegas doesn't really give a shit either.
I feel like when I did my picks, I think I had the Panthers winning this one, so I'll stick with that.
All right.
And then we have The Colts at the Patriots.
I've
It's
got
so hard to. How do you pick the
Indianapolis
Patriots?
winning this game, but
Yeah, I don't.
and honestly, if Patriots start out 2-8, I don't think it's impossible for Bill Belichick to get fired before the end of the season.
I
I
think
don't
it
think it's
is.
impossible.
I think it is. I think it's impossible.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it would not shock me if it did happen.
I think he's built up enough to not be fired this season.
That's up to the Browns. Or it's up to the Patriots front office. But speaking of
It's up to
Browns,
Kraft.
well, Patriots. Well, the owner, you know what I mean. Like
Because when you
obviously,
say front office, people,
well,
I
Belichick
think
is
of
the coach
GM.
and GM, but I mean,
Yeah, that's why I was like, well, he won't make that decision.
yeah, he won't fire himself.
But yeah. But then Browns at Ravens, an easy Ravens.
Yeah. Like I'm curious what the spread is. Baltimore -6, which sounds about right.
Yeah, I got the Ravens covering as well.
We've got Steelers Packers. Steelers are favored by 3.
I got Packers winning
I
outright.
do as well. Honestly, at some point they've got to win another game, and at some point Pittsburgh can't keep getting outgained every single game and still
Aaron
finding
Jones
ways
is
to
looking a
win.
little healthier.
Yeah, I think at some point Green Bay's got to win another one, right? Because at this point Matt LaFleur is coaching for his job. Jordan Love is playing for his job. Um, they've got to put something together. They're 1-4 in their last 5 games. They started the year 2-1. They're 3-5 now. They have to get it together.
Yeah. And then Texans at the Bengals.
This is going to be closer than the 7-point spread, but I've got
Disagree.
Cincinnati winning. You don't think so? You think
No.
Cincinnati wins this one pretty convincingly?
Yes.
Okay.
I think even with Stroud's play, the Texans have had some games
Thank you.
where I don't know. I think this is one of the ones where they get kind of rolled a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of the inexperience shows. So I got Bengals and I got Bengals covering.
Yeah. New Orleans at Minnesota. Do either of us care? Would be my first question.
No, but I got the Saints.
Josh Dobbs against that secondary. Yeah, it's not.
That's what's tough. If you told me Justin Jefferson's healthy and playing, then I would probably pick the Vikings, but he's not, so I'm going to pick the Saints.
I think I'm with you, but I don't feel good about it. I'm going to pick New Orleans.
I feel comfortable with it.
All right.
And then on a 3-game losing streak, the Niners are having bad luck about having to go and play Jacksonville. And I get that Jacksonville isn't necessarily a world beater, but it's not the team you want to see to beat this slump.
Jacksonville is on a 5-game winning streak. San Francisco is on a 3-game losing streak. Both of these have to give at some point. I think it's
they do.
Week. I think it's
but is it here?
I think so. In fact, San Francisco's favored in this game by 3 points.
Good for them.
Yeah, Jacksonville's +3. San Francisco's favored to win this game, and I think Vegas knows that something's got to give with these teams. Jacksonville is not going 15-2. San Francisco is not going 5-12. Something's got to happen, and I think it's this week, and so does Vegas. I agree with Vegas here.
Let me see when I think it is actually, because I still have all the games pulled up right here.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was okay. So that's this week. Pick them there. Pick them there. Oh, I have them losing to the Texans week 12.
Yeah.
That's when it ends. But I got the Jags beating the Niners.
All right.
But then we move on to Titans at Bucks.
I'm going to this game. I cannot, in good confidence, pick the Titans to lose in a game that I am not only attending, but that I spent pretty good money on.
I can't. Bucks.
Yeah, I know you can, but I'm not going to. No, the Bucks have lost their last 4. I think it is right. I think they've lost their last 4 games.
They did start 3-0.
Now the Titans have not yet won a road game this year. That's important.
And they're asking a rookie quarterback to do that?
Not just any rookie quarterback. They're asking Trill
A
Levis.
second-round pick rookie quarterback. You're right. It's even more unlikely.
Trill Levis. He gonna get it done.
Bucks.
He gonna get it done. He gonna get it done. I'm not worried about it.
Falcons at Cardinals in what is probably Kyler Murray's return.
It is pretty well. I mean, I guess it said barring any setback. I don't give a fuck. Cardinals all the way. Cardinals to the moon.
How does Kyler pick back up? You think he picks back up?
Decently well. I think Cardinals to the moon. You haven't played Kyler all year. You don't know where you're going to get from him, and I think that's scary for Atlanta. Plus, I think Atlanta's on a downward trend right now.
All right. Since you convinced me, I'll go Cardinals.
No, I'm not trying to convince you. You pick.
You did.
All right.
I got Cardinals. Lions at Chargers.
Dan Campbell versus Brandon Staley. That's all I need to know. Give me Detroit on the road.
Yeah, I'll take the Lions.
The Chargers are only the spread. They're only giving the Lions 2.5, probably because it's on the road. But it's the Chargers. Yeah. Are there really going to be that many more Chargers fans than Lions fans in this game? I don't think so. I've got Detroit, and I've got them convincingly. Speaking of convincingly,
this one is, dude. The Giants are so unlucky because they have to play a pissed off Cowboys team.
Yeah. In
Dallas, with is Danny DeVito playing quarterback still?
Probably because Daniel Jones tore his ACL.
What happened to Tyrod?
Got a concussion in that game or something. I don't know, or like 2 weeks ago or whatever.
So he might be out of protocol then.
Don't look it up. Don't look it up. What's the spread on this game? Don't look at it. What's the spread?
Not looking. 13.5.
16.
And honestly, over. They beat them 40-0 last time.
I don't see it going under. I wouldn't bet it because it's a divisional game, but it's the fucking Giants.
Mike is gonna score a touchdown.
Fuck it, yeah.
Place that bet anytime touchdown, Micah Parsons.
All right, we've got
Commanders at Seahawks.
I've got the Seahawks winning, and they're favored by 6. I think Washington, after coming off barely beating one of the worst teams in the league in New England,
covering.
What's up?
I got them covering.
I think they'll cover, yeah. But I think at some point, I'm rooting for them to lose a few games so that Ron Rivera gets fired, because I'm just tired of watching Ron Rivera coach football teams. To be honest with you, I'm ready for him to go. I'm not even a fan. I'm ready for him to go. As a football fan, I don't want Ron Rivera coaching a football team anymore.
Jets at Raiders.
First of all, stop putting the fucking Raiders in prime time. Why is this like 4 of the last 5 weeks they've been in prime time? Nobody wants to see the fucking Raiders. It's ridiculous.
And the Jets.
This is a Sunday night game, and they didn't flex it out in time. Unfucking believable. Who wants to watch this? Who wants to watch this? Who in their right mind wants to watch this game? Unless you're a Jets or Raiders fan, even then you don't really want to watch this. You have to.
The only reason you watch this game is to watch Max Crosby annihilate the Jets' offensive line.
Yeah, that's the only thing as a football fan you're looking forward to. I've got the Jets winning because
this one's so fucking tough for me to pick.
The Jets are favored, but only by 1.5.
Because I've seen Zach Wilson get better and then just. Not even be good, but get better and then just immediately wash any good progress he made away. So I'm like, what do I get here?
Yeah. Well, you got a new head coach for the Raiders, and they surely played some inspired football in his first game, but how sustainable is that? I don't know.
Is it sustainable against the Jets?
Yeah. Maybe he'll have a Rich Bisaccia, arc.
Give me Max Crosby winning this team a game. Let's go with the Raiders.
Okay. That's fair.
Broncos at Bills.
7.5 is way too generous of a spread, considering Denver has gotten hot the last few weeks and Buffalo has a losing record over their last 5 games. 7.5 is way. I've got Buffalo winning, but if I had a few $100 lying around, and I had nowhere to put it, Denver plus 7.5. Not the worst bet in the world.
No, but yeah, I got Bills.
I think Denver covers. I don't care if this is the kind of game you think Buffalo would know. Oh, it just deleted all my picks because I didn't press save and I accidentally backed out. Let me redo all of them real quick.
Well, I just want to recap the standings. I'm in first with 80 correct. You're in second with 78, and then Gabe is in third with 0 correct.
What a fucking loser.
We're 9 weeks in, Gabe. You can't pick one game correct.
Fuck, does not know a lick of ball.
Dude,
Does
what the
not know a
fuck?
lick of ball.
One of these weeks, we're just randomly going to see him make picks.
It's not gonna happen.
Dude, I don't know.
If it did, but it's not gonna happen.
He watched some of the last pod because he commented on it to us specifically. Maybe he'll watch this one, see this, and be like, "Oh fuck."
Gabe, if you're watching this, make your fucking. I'm gonna full government name you on the next podcast if you don't make your picks this week. So, and we're not gonna censor it this time, like we said.
Also, make sure you like and comment on the podcast. It helps.
Yeah, that too.
I would appreciate that as well. But yeah. He had to comment on. Should I say his name? Oh, he had to comment on it. We talked about. Oops, should I say his name?
No, don't say his name.
This is your pod.
No, don't say his fucking name. I don't want to edit this shit out. I'm busy tomorrow.
All right,
I gotta get this out on time. Don't make my job harder than it's gonna be.
All right.
You can government name him as much as you want in your own when it goes on your channel, but.
And it worked out. That was funny. I think that was a really funny segment.
It was probably funnier for us than it was for the audience, but that's okay.
That's true.
We're allowed to have fun on our
all they hear is these dolphin noises. Which also, I forgot to talk about that, dude. That pod, the most technical difficulties I've ever fucking had trying to put something out.
That was brutal.
I don't know why. And then the weirdest part was I swapped out the image. Like, I took away the video and I just put an image up and I exported it. And a failed export must have actually exported because I got a 58-minute clip with video, which is cut off, obviously, because it's like a 2.5 hour podcast. I only had 58 minutes. And I didn't notice. I put that up instead of the full pod because I didn't know that there was 2 fucking videos out. I don't know where that 58 one come from, and I don't know why it cut off randomly at 58 minutes.
I couldn't tell you.
But fucking, oh my god, dude, that shit was pissing me off.
Yeah,
it had frame issues.
That was an interesting clip for sure. Or interesting editing fiasco for you, but I'm glad you were able to get it up, of course. Keep the brand growing. Oh, I recently uploaded a video that wasn't podcast. It was a Will Levis video, what he means for the team, and what he does for the. Granted, I think I talked about it on last week's podcast, so yeah. Maybe I am. I need to put up another one. I've been flaking on that David Bowie top 10 albums video, and honestly, that might not even be my first music related video. I might just do an easier one at some point. Maybe I'll do like albums that I have gotten a lot of replay value out of this year. We'll see. I don't know, something like maybe I'll just show off my vinyl collection for a video because it's starting to grow into a respectable size. So we shall see.
I really, God, I need this to grow. My Power Ranger collection here, I need it to grow. Because I have video ideas revolving around these.
You need a new shelf, man.
I need more money.
Yeah. Money for a shelf and then more figurines.
Yeah. We'll see. Is it time for what we're on?
What are you on, man?
I saw the FNAF movie.
How was it?
Honestly, pretty solid.
Okay.
It's an enjoyable watch.
I'm glad you liked it, because most people didn't seem to. I didn't watch it, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I think they're just overly hating.
I mean, at the same time, I don't know why people expected the FNAF movie to be like the most, like,
groundbreaking thing.
like out of this world plot with like the most depth you've ever seen in a character on screen in your lifetime. You know what I mean? Like it's a movie.
I mean, it's just a really nice, fun watch. The main character for it, I forget the actor's name. PETA from Hunger Games. Yeah. I think he had a really good performance. I really thought he was. There were some times I'm like, yo, are you carrying right? But yeah, you can tell there's some budget limitations for the movie.
Yeah.
But since it's performed so well, I think it'll get a sequel, and I think we could see an increased budget for it.
I think didn't even beat the Mario opening weekend.
I'll look it up.
It had like the highest opening weekend for any video game movie ever. I think it passed Mario. Maybe it didn't, but I thought it did. Especially considering it also released simultaneously on Peacock, like the fact that it performed as well as it did in the theaters is pretty absurd.
Um, well, the line I'm seeing right here: Five Nights at Freddy's tops 200 million worldwide.
On opening weekend.
What just says it tops it? So from 2 days ago, so probably not an opening weekend, but
I think
that's still a
the
lot.
budget was even less than that.
Well, yeah,
So it's already
probably.
made money.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty solid. I mean, the FNAF lore, there's a lot to it that they can do, they can play with.
Yeah.
Different concepts. Let's see.
Oh yeah, man.
Let's see if I can. Budget was 20 million.
Oh, so they've gone 10 times the budget already.
Yeah.
Yeah, a sequel is probably in the cards. A higher budget sequel.
Yeah. So we'll see a little bit more.
What else you been on?
Still watch Power Rangers working on that video. It's a labor of love, but it's still a labor. There's a lot. Also, because like it's a double-edged sword because it's easier to make this section of the video because it's so. I don't have to go in depth about these episodes of Power Rangers because this is when Power Rangers was truly after school special.
Yeah.
And like so many of them are not storyline important, and I can just kind of breeze through a good bit of them. But it's like, well, I'm still gonna watch these.
Yeah.
And they're not bad, but it's just like, well, there's a golden era of Power Rangers that I've yet to hit. I cannot wait to get to, but it's just gotta work there.
Gotcha.
Hmm. Oh, I'm kind of dragging my feet when it comes to Spider-Man. Like I'm playing it some, but I just haven't beat it yet.
You don't want you don't want the experience to end too fast.
No. But I'm having a good time. Probably after this pod, I'll probably get some dinner and throw on some YouTube and play some Spider-Man.
Fuck yeah.
It'll probably be the night. But yeah,
Dinner.
I don't know. I just can't wait to get some of these better videos out.
Yeah.
It's like so rewarding when a video that I've put effort, like genuine time and effort into, finally comes out. And the channel's growing, which is nice. I cannot wait to hit 200. My goal for next year is to hit 500 subs.
That's very doable.
Yeah, and that's when monetization can be turned on, but it's not full monetization. Full monetization's at like 1,000. But we're working. And like I said, the goal for this channel, well, this isn't your channel, but my channel is never to. I don't plan on ever being like my job, although I would fucking love that. But the goal is just to have fun. I just want more people commenting. That's the big thing. I just want more
engagement
of a small community, but got to work there. Not there yet.
I hear you.
Disappointed to not see you comment on my starter tier list.
What's that?
My Pokemon starter tier list video.
I'm a bad friend. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my goodness!
I'm sorry.
I also need to start working on a Wii Vault video again. I mean, I just haven't been dragging. It's gonna be Mario Kart, but I just been dragging. Okay, that shit on. What's up? What you been on?
On the same day, the Gen V finale and the first episode of season 2 of Invincible came out. So in that order,
I forgot to bring that up. I
watched the Gen V finale. That show went hard.
Mm-hmm.
It ties into the boys and like the very end.
Seen it.
It does tie directly back into the main show at the end. Not gonna say how, but it does. It does tie back. And episode 1 of Invincible it goes hard.
It did go hard.
Really hard. And I cannot wait to see how this season goes.
Why the fuck is Amber still?
Look, man, after rewatching season 1 a couple months ago in preparation for season 2, I swear
to God, dude.
I don't hate her nearly as much as I did. However, she's still not great. Like I still think like the way she actually hang on. Let me. This is a point that This is how I feel about it. It's not necessarily that Amber is in the wrong that I have a problem with. She's like 17. She is a high schooler. She is allowed to be wrong. The
Mhm.
problem is the rest of the cast treats Mark like he's the bad guy. If
Yeah, that
everybody
too.
understood that Amber was being just like way too hard on him for justifiably keeping the fact that he was a fucking superhero from her, um, like I would get it. I would get it. Like, if I wouldn't have an issue with Amber being the way she is if the rest of if the writing treated her that way. But the problem is that the show treated her as if she was completely justified in how she felt, and to some degree, like, yeah, she has every right to be like upset that he wasn't being honest with her. But it's not like he didn't have any quantifiable reason to hide the truth. You know what I mean? And he still did his best, to try and make up for it. And it's like I said, like the problem isn't that Amber is too hard. It's that the show doesn't treat it that way. And I think people would hate Amber a lot less if the show held her accountable, but it doesn't. And that's the problem with Amber. Not that she, made the mistake of being way too hard on Mark, just that
Yeah.
she was not held accountable by the show for said mistake. And I think if people framed it that way instead of she's a bitch,
Well,
I
she
think
is.
yes, but I'm just saying I think the discourse is in the wrong place. I think we're focusing on the wrong thing with the Amber complaints because I'm there, but I after rewatching it, I shifted my focus a little bit on in
Yeah,
terms of
shifting your
my
focus is probably a better way of putting it because it's
yes.
like
I'm still don't know. I
when
still
she
dislike what.
says, "I knew you were a superhero," it's like, oh, I'm like, fuck it, oh,
Yeah,
that should
but
piss me off
it's
so
like
much. And every
why
time Eve shows up on screen, I'm like, Mark, what are you
you
doing, dog?
gotta
Come
you
look,
gotta
come on,
come on,
man,
man, go get it.
look
Mark
at that.
Mark is not a milkman. It must be. Mark is not a milkman. Um,
Oh,
it would appear that way, anyways. Mark is not a milkman. Maybe well,
like
granted,
this.
Amber was white in the comics, so Mark should be a milkman. Actually, canonically, Mark is a milkman. Maybe I don't know.
Canonically, he's
I don't.
a
I don't
milkman.
know. I guess in the show canon, he might not be a milkman. I'm not sure. Um,
They gotta
I don't get it.
they gotta get together.
I do.
At
I
the
mean,
very least, get rid of Amber, dude.
I
Anytime
like.
she's on screen and I hear her voice, I get annoyed. I'm like, what the
I like
fuck?
even Mark as a couple. I think it would make perfect sense. But I think there's a way. Like I think Amber's like rectifiable, but
I'd rather Mark and William than Mark and Amber.
if Mark got a twink boyfriend, that would be like the best subversion of expectations the
Or
show
if he
could
topped
possibly.
his bully,
Oh my god! Now we're talking. No, no,
dude,
no,
there's a
no.
story.
Turning your bully into a bottom is a
Dude,
power play to end all
that's
power plays.
or his bully's dad. That's next
That's
level.
cinema right there. But
Funny scene with the bully though when he's like, "Sorry about your dad,"
oh my
but
god.
he's like actually sorry.
Yeah, but then he makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
Um,
God, I mean, I feel bad if my dad died, and I don't even like my dad. I heard your dad's a pretty good guy, right?
Yeah.
Mark just has the fucking.
Yeah. I've also been listening to some music because, of course, I have. I'm always on my shit.
Right.
I've been getting into Elliott Smith's discography. Elliott Smith was the biggest inspiration for one of my favorite artists, that is Phoebe Bridgers. I love Phoebe Bridgers. And she's gone as far as saying, like, if somebody doesn't like Elliott Smith's music, I don't think I would probably agree with them on anything because it's, like, so foundational for me. Like, and you can hear it in, like, listening to Elliott Smith, I'm like, yeah, I see where, like, Phoebe gets her style from because this is very, like, almost like wearing her influences on her sleeve. Like if I listen to Phoebe's music now after listening to some of Elliott Smith's work, like very similar. So I totally get it. I've been listening to some new music, not a whole lot this week. There wasn't much that really came out on Friday last week. There's an album I'm listening to on Friday this week that I'm somewhat looking forward to. It's not by an artist that I love, but it's by an artist that I'm familiar with who I like one of his songs a lot. And he is also friends with Jane Remover. He's touring with her, in fact. And of course, I've spoken very glowingly about Jane Remover's new album. Um, I love it. It's one of my favorites. I pre-ordered the vinyl, and it's gonna be in my top 50 albums this year. It's gonna be way higher than number 50. I'm gonna tell you right now. But generally speaking, I'm excited. This the new album is I don't remember what it's called, but it's by an artist named Quanic, and it's similar to like indie-tronica shoegaze type of thing. So similar vein of music to Jane, of course, because I mean they're touring together. Of course, they make similar music, but I'm excited. It's coming out Friday. I will be listening to it probably like at midnight. If not, then early Friday morning. But I will be listening to it for sure. Hi, Mister. Can you get down? Thank you. So that's
Avillion Talks just threw his cat off the chair.
he jumped off on his own power, but I redirected him so that he would jump off that way. But yes. Now he's meowing and jumping back up here. Come here, baby. Or not. That's fine too. Where are we at now? We in the shitpost section, I guess.
Yes, sir.
I guess so. Then this. Oh fuck! I still got Dr Pepper in here.
Whoa! Has it gone flat? Or just warmer?
Flat and room temperature.
Oh.
But it's still Dr Pepper. Oh Lord! Shout out Brayden McClellan's second favorite letter. Or was it third? Where was P for you? Was it second or third? I don't remember.
Second.
Okay, yep. Love Dr. Pepper, man.
Did you see Dion say that his sons are both going to declare 2025?
I didn't see that, but that doesn't shut. I've been saying for a while, Shadur's probably gonna stay. I've never bought that he's going to declare this year when he doesn't have to, especially what he can show next year when they hopefully have some semblance of an offensive line in Colorado.
But I know that he wants to go higher, but like, buddy, it'd probably be better for you to fall a little bit. Go to a better team.
I'm not sold on Shadur being a star in the NFL. Honestly, I would like to see him in college another year. To be quite honest with you, like I think this is the best possible option for him. Honestly, staying another year.
I think he should come out, but.
And I don't think Shiloh Sanders really has a choice. His ass was not getting drafted if he declared this year. So, yeah, Dion could be like, oh yeah, Shiloh's staying until 2020. Yeah, no shit. Shiloh was going to go undrafted and might not even be a priority free agent.
Oh, what year is Shiloh?
I don't know, but he's not good. But he's not great anyways. He's not good enough to be. He's not a draftable player, I would say.
That last name?
I don't care. Thaddeus Moss went undrafted. He won a national championship and he went undrafted.
He plays tight end though.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it does.
If ball is ball. If you're not good, you're not getting drafted.
Positions matter.
Yes, they do, but in terms of that late in the draft, positional value means almost nothing in the 7th round. You're just taking flyers.
Oh, Shiloh's older than Shadur. I didn't know that.
Shiloh's also Dion's least favorite child. Or, I think maybe second to least favorite. I don't remember. I know he's low on the child power rankings. I think Shadur is right in the middle. So what do you call it? His daughter is like number 2 or number 1. But I think Shiloh was 5th out of 5. I think Shiloh was at the bottom. Because it was another Sanders brother's birthday, and he was like, to my favorite son, these are my kids' power rankings. He dropped the full power rankings of his kids. And
well, yeah, he keeps people updated because they always ask.
Yeah, Shiloh was I think 5th on the power rankings.
I think where did Deion Sanders Jr. rank?
I think he was number 1 because he's Deion Sanders
Why?
Jr. He's Deion Sanders Jr.
But what's he doing? I know he like manages like some social media brand.
I think he manages the social media accounts of both Shiloh and Shadur. Because I think it was his birthday that Deion was celebrating, and he was like, "Happy birthday to my favorite child! Here's the power rankings," and it was Deion Sanders.
That's so funny. You know, Shadur is like, dude, I'm probably gonna end up being like a first-round quarterback.
Deion don't care about all that. yeah, he does.
He's like, dude, I'm kind of nice. I'm kind of clean.
I think the only reason Shiloh even made the top 5 instead of Deion only ranking his top 4 was because Shiloh plays corner. I think that was the only thing keeping him from being unranked in the sibling power rankings.
Why is he so low?
Because he fucking sucks. I don't know, man. He's just.
Well, he obviously doesn't care about that if he's got fucking Deion Sanders Jr. at 1.
Maybe it's about more than just ball. All right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, what the fuck has he done to be so low?
But be bad at football is one. I don't know. Maybe for some of his kids, for his kids that play football, it probably matters. But for his kids that don't play football, obviously he has to.
I feel like you're just hating on him.
I am hating on Shiloh. I can admit that. I can totally admit that. I don't
I
like.
bet
Shiloh.
he's probably like a 6th round pick.
Maybe next year if he plays. Well.
Next year he'd probably go in like he'll improve his stock and go in the 4th.
He's not gonna go in the 4th.
You heard it here first, guys.
No shot. Shiloh Sanders goes in the top.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. Shiloh Sanders will be going in the 4th round of the NFL draft next year.
Knowing my luck, he's a Tennessee Titan in round 3 when he declares, because that's how this works. So, no, I'm sorry, I'm just not there with Shiloh. I'm not even there with Shador all that much. I like Shador. I don't think I'm not like sold on him, but I'm definitely not there with Shiloh.
Who's the first? Going to be the 1st round pick next year? Next year, I mean.
It's going to be could be Connor. Could be. Why is Pence Drew Aller?
Because I don't see Shador. It's like I don't see him being the 1st round, the first quarterback in any of the drafts. So I'm like, why does it?
No, he's not going to be the first guy taken next year
either. I just don't see why it matters for him to stay another year.
Because he wants to play another year with his dad. Probably exactly what it is, which is what I've been saying since the season started. Even when he started.
Well, everybody said that is probably going to happen.
Well, that's what I was saying. As soon as
I just don't think
as soon as I saw the mock drafts with him going like 20th or whatever, I'm like, he's not declaring this year. It's not going to happen. And he's not going to declare. He was like, I was pretty adamant about it for this whole time, and I maintained that. And now that
you make those Radiohead album things,
I did not. No, I was hoping you forgot about it because I forgot to text you that I didn't make it.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not make it yesterday. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry guys, we're not gonna have anything fun this week.
All right, whatever.
Even though you guys, I don't think anyone saw the fun thing we did last week because I think it got cut off.
Probably.
We did some fun Power Ranger stuff.
We did.
Jacob had to match the teams to the titles.
I hilariously, awfully guessed the titles and the teams. It did not go well. Did not go.
You know what our top 3 should be next week?
What's that?
We should do childhood crushes.
Oh fuck yeah! Wait, hang on. They're allowed to be animated, right?
Hey, go off, dude.
Right.
Whatever.
All right. I got number 1 already. It is
Danny Phantom.
Sure. No, it's locked in. It is locked in. Number 1. No question about it.
Max Goof.
Generator Rex. Hell yeah. No, I got number 1 locked in. I might even have number 2 locked in.
Ben 10. The kid. The kid one.
All right, brother.
Childhood crushes or crushes that are in childhood?
Oh my god. Okay. Childhood, I got number 1 locked in. I think I got number 2 locked in, and number 3.
I got my 1.
There's like 500 names floating around for number 3, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Damn, I've realized because I thought about this while I was like, damn, I've really been into Latinas my whole life.
Should I throw at least 1 real person in there? I guess I probably should.
Hey, do you, brother?
I don't know. I should throw at least 1 real person in there just as number 3, just to say like, all right, here, damn, just like when they gave Joel Embiid the MVP, you know.
Or Marcus Smart, the Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, damn, here, damn.
Yeah, damn.
Right,
Shut the fuck up.
Stop bitching about it. Damn, here you go. Yeah, I don't care about voter fatigue for the most part, like in most sports, but especially like, come on, Jokic is better. Jokic has always been better. Just give it to Jokic next time. Give it to Luka this year. But
I'm about to say it's Lucas this year.
It's Lucas right now.
He's definitely getting clutch player of the year with all these clutch games we're having to play.
That was a real.
That's his fucking. That's his award to lose.
But yeah, who's most improved so far? You think?
Cam Thomas in the Nets probably.
Okay. Rookie of the year, it's Wemby. I'm not calling Chet a rookie. I don't care how it works in the NBA. I think it's fucking stupid.
Well, All right, you're gonna have a problem then, because I probably would. I would probably say Chet ends up winning it.
I think it's gotten a little closer in the last couple of games because Wemby's put up some insane performances, and I think like maybe Chet's doing a little more overall as a player. But like again, the argument I make is Chet has been in an NBA locker room for over a
But
calendar
I'm
year.
sorry, that argument just doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Because he's going to be considered a rookie. That's the precedent.
But
Set by
also,
Ben
Chet.
Simmons.
I think Chet's going to be on a team that makes the playoffs.
That too, it matters.
That's going to be another thing.
It matters, yeah.
And he's also been more efficient to start the year.
He's shooting like 55% from beyond.
Yeah,
the
it's
arc right
it's
now.
absurd. Yeah, so he's actually more efficient.
Yeah.
So it's like better efficiency
He's
leading
been a
to a team that's winning
overall than Wemby has. I would say, but it's just I have a hard time saying rookie of the year because I'm sorry, he's just not a rookie. I hate that they classify rookies the way that they do. If you miss your whole rookie season, I was like, it sucks. But now you have an unfair advantage when it comes to winning rookie of the year the following year, because you've already been in the league for over a year. You've been in a locker room. You had an entire offseason to. All
right, tear your ACL if you really want this extra year of advantage.
You've had an entire year to bulk up. He's had an entire.
You're recovering from an injury.
I understand that, so he can sit on his ass and eat chips all day and get fatter. Like he's had time to bulk up. I don't care.
But he didn't.
He did bulk up.
All right, yeah, I guess Chet bulked up for what Chet is, I guess.
Undeniably, he is much. Okay, you have any idea how hard you're a taller guy. You know how hard it is for the taller you are, the harder it is to bulk up. Chet's fucking tall. It's hard. He's like 7'1" or whatever the fuck he is. It's not easy for somebody at his size to put on a huge amount of muscle mass.
Jesus, suck his dick already.
No, what?
All right, man, I get it. You're just like, oh, he did something so difficult.
Whatever.
Dude, it's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
I remember you liking my messages in the group chat when I complained about that. That's all I remember. But
I thought it was funny.
Whatever.
Every time I like something doesn't mean like, oh, I agree with this.
Yes, it does. Yes, up here, that's what it means. It doesn't matter what it means to you. It matters how I internalize it. All right. Perception is worth more than reality. All right, fuck you. I'm in control.
All right.
With that, we're nearing the 3-hour mark, man. I kind of want to make some dinner and go take a walk.
Yeah, I'm
not even in that order. So, yeah, it's been fun. Been a fun.
Good
one. If you've made it this far, congrats. This is our longest one yet, so
no
I
one's
appreciate
here.
you. Don't say that. Don't be mean.
No one's here. We're talking to ourselves. We should just show our dicks on camera.
We do this for us.
No one will ever know.
We do this for us, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for being here. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.